Like, this is called the pesky report. Like,
welcome back to the pesky report episode. That was unreal timing. I loved that so much. Could not keep it together for that. Episode 555 presented by Beyond the Monster. I'm Jordan, joined by Jack and Brian. That was awesome. That boys, how are we doing today?
I think that sums it up.
Fantastic. That was fantastic. The Red Sox stink right now. They're 2-7, and as you guys listening and watching can tell by the title, good teams are not 2-7. In fact, the Red Sox are the worst team in baseball right now. We're gonna talk about the series. We're gonna talk about some of the overarching issues, because this is about more than just this past series with the Padres. But I don't know. I mean, we at least got to enjoy it the first day, and the weather kind of was nice with us during the home opener. Did either of you guys go to the opener or no? No.
Nope.
I was gonna go, but I had to bang out of work on Monday while traveling back from Cincy. So I'm like, I can't just keep using PTO. I might need that in like literally any other point of 2026. But yeah, Red Sox lose 2 of 3 to the Padres and have fallen now to 2-7 on the season. And I keep seeing like all the silver lining posts and like the moral victory posts, like, oh, a couple good pitches and they'd be 4-5, or like a couple things go their way and they're like 5-4. And it's like, they're still 2-7, But Jack, I'm gonna throw it to you first here. What do you think is, like, if you could give like a Cliff Notes version of the issues with this team, where's your head at with where they're at as an organization right now?
God, I mean, keeping it short is the hard part. Like, I think you have a combination of things that you could have anticipated coming into the year that we talked about all offseason. Yeah, there's too many outfielders, and that's still an issue. And they're all good players, but they need to be playing every day. You need to determine what you're doing there. And then you don't really have a lot of power in the lineup. And it's hard to generate runs when you don't have guys hitting the long ball outside of Willier. And Willier's off to an incredible start to the season. Without him, they'd be 0-9. And then pitching-wise, it's just, I think they've gotten some bad outings out of guys who I think are going to be fine. I'm less concerned about the rotation than I am about the lineup. Weisert's a mess, though. I mean, last year he gave up 6 home runs. We're 9 games into this year. He's given up 3. So I don't know if he's pitching hurt, if he got taxed during the WBC, having to pitch a lot of innings for Team Italy. I don't know what's going on with Weissert, but like I would really consider Phantom ILing him right now and letting him work through whatever this is, because this is getting ugly fast.
Well, they do have to figure something out with Whitlock coming back, but Zach Kelly has pitched the last 2 days, so it seems pretty obvious that he's going to be the guy that ends up getting sent down. But you're absolutely right about Weissert. I have no idea what's going on with him. And it's like, I mean, it's not like I don't give too much credence to the idea that he just can't pitch with inherited runners. And like, it's just like he either does his job or he doesn't do his job. And like, sometimes inherited runners don't score, and sometimes he has a clean inning and he stinks. But the problem is, it feels like most of the time he stinks, it's when he comes in and there's somebody on base already. No matter how many outs there are, I don't trust him to be like the fireman. And Cora gets in these weird little things with relievers where he's like, this guy is my fireman. Like in 2022, it was Jake Diekman. I'm like, that's the last guy on the planet I want inheriting a runner. I don't even know if any of these 3 batters he's going to face are going to see a strike. And like with Weissert, one of these guys is homering. He's, like you said, he's given up a home run in all 3 of his 4 outings or 3 of his 5 outings this season. He's been really bad. Like he's had a major hand in 2 losses. Well, I guess 3, because the home run he allowed to Ellie in a 1-run loss, but they were already losing at that point. It's a mess right now. And it's like, there's like too many issues to focus on anything specifically, but I hear you on the not so worried about the rotation. the lineup, I don't know how they're going to score runs. Brian, where's your head out with the team right now?
Yeah, I mean, when you can't score, the pitching is so much more important. So, Weiser basically blew 3 games, basically 2.5 games, however you want to say it. If they're up by 5 or 6 runs, he gives up a couple. You're like, okay, whatever. But when they're just not scoring at all, it's huge. And I mean, 2-7. You went to a good game. They had one good game in this series, but was it last year where we're doing these things, and it's like if they lose on Sunday, it just kind of like leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And the earlier conversation before you hit record, you guys get to do Celtics podcasts. Like, I'm so jealous. It was like, whoa, let's talk. It's like we're going to talk about baseball, and I love baseball, but I don't love this team right now. And when Weiser comes in, people used to blame Canada. I'm blaming Italy. Let's blame Italy. Italy's fault. So it's fine.
Works for me. I'm cool. I'm cool with blaming the Red Sox on a foreign land. Why not? Italy's fault. Works for me. It just stinks because, especially, I mean, coming into the series, I felt like it was mostly an offensive issue. Like they just couldn't score runs. I mean, even entering play today, I think they were the only team in baseball that hadn't scored at least 5 runs in a game or 6 runs in a game. They did today. They scored 6. I mean, of course, they gave up 8 runs in the game. They scored 6. But it feels like they just, whenever they get any sort of momentum, they give it all right back. So like even today, and not to jump to the final game of the series before we even talk about the home opener, but they score 4 runs. I mean, the game started like crap. I mean, you got 4 strikeouts against Walker Buehler in 2026 in the first 2 innings. Like that in and of itself is like one of the most damning things on Pete Fatz. He's already pretty up and down Red Sox tenure as hitting coach. But you score 4 runs, and then Ranger Suarez decides he wants to start screwing around and missing the zone and leaving pitches over the heart of the plate. And then you have first and second, 1 out, and it's 4-1. And Carlos Narvaez is trying to backpick Manny Machado. Like that was just not like, why are you trying to be a hero? You have a 3-run lead. You make an error, and now it's second and third, 1 out. And like Rangers already kind of fighting it at that point. There's been like a sheer lack of focus. Everyone's trying to be a hero at the same time, and nobody has been capable of doing it outside of Wilyer Abreu. And I know that we posted on the Instagram story today, like, give us some stuff to talk about. And one person say Wilyer Abreu is the best player to ever walk the earth. That is quo.brighton on Instagram. So shout out Quo for that. He is absolutely the greatest player to ever walk the earth. The problem is he's basically turned into what the Ohtani and Mike Trout tweet, like Tungsten O'Neill or whatever that guy's name was. Like, Willier's done the greatest thing you've ever seen, and the Red Sox lose. That's kind of the habit we're falling into so far in 2026, and it's really frustrating for 9 games now. But yeah, I mean, do we have any idea like any sort of solutions for this team? Is it just simply changing up the lineup? Is it like, are we already at the point where Red Sox Twitter is at with firing people? Like where are we at with solving the Red Sox? I mean, Alex Cora likes Trevor Story. That's pretty cool. I like Trevor Story.
You made the meme and everything.
I did. And I haven't been able to post the damn image because every single time he comes up to the plate, it's the worst at bat you've ever seen. And he seems to outdo himself every single time. He did get a hit today. So I guess congratulations, Trevor, on your 4th hit of the season. You've doubled up Caleb Durbin. So good job. Well, yeah, I mean, Jack, what are you thinking of with the lineup? Are you already in the whole like overhaul everything, or is it just a matter of like changing a couple guys around? Cora seems to think that, I don't know, what he said before the game yesterday or after the game yesterday was really weird. Like, oh, we liked it on opening day. My question is, why'd you like it on opening day?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's this weird situation where, like, I get why the lineup was constructed the way it was on opening day. Like, I get what he was going for. At the same time, at least based on where we are in the season, and I understand it's very early, things can change quickly, I would strongly consider just doing a quick little flip around of where the 4 and 5 hitters are and the 2 and 3 hitters are, and just having it go Roman, Contreras, Willier into Story, Duran, and then the rest. just to get Wilyer first inning at bats when he is this hot right now. And I understand Cora has said a bunch of times, I want Wilyer behind Contreras. Okay, then let Contreras hit second. Works for me, especially when it's more, I know Contreras hasn't been incredible, but he's been better than Story to this point. So I would consider flipping that around. But like, I also don't think that magically makes them score a ton more per game. And I think when you look at the roster, it is just like this weird construction thing. And I think the approach has been weird. I know Cora has talked about guys are swinging too much at first pitches and kind of trying to do too much. And I know we talked about Fatsy and how like he's kind of outlived everything. And like, I don't think you can fire a hitting coach 9 games into a season, but I also think he has outlived what you'd expect him to have outlived given the offensive struggles that have existed in his time as the hitting coach of this team. I'm not surprised because he's gotten through everything that he's still here. But like, if I was on the outside looking in, I'd be so surprised he's gotten the leash he's gotten.
Yeah, how many years has it been now that he's been head coach? Or I keep getting head coach, hitting coach. 2022, right? Hired was 2021, and then he left. And every single one of those seasons, they have gotten off to awful starts offensively. And I don't know if it's a weather thing. I don't know if it's an approach thing because they seem to have okay offenses in spring training. This year was a little weird because of the WBC. Like we were trotting out Andrew Monasterio in the 2-hole for like 3 weeks, and because it's just, I don't know. They're in this weird position. It's weird because this is like the one time where I look at the Red Sox lineup and I'm like, this isn't a Fatsy problem. This is a personnel issue. They're not a good enough lineup in general. Or like, I don't think if you fire Pete Fatsy and you bring in somebody else, it's a new voice and suddenly it clicks. And like Trevor Story's like, maybe that slider 4 feet off the plate, I should just not swing at it. You know, maybe then, you know, Jarren Duran will stop chasing pitches that don't even reach the dirt. You know, maybe then Caleb Durbin will make contact, period. That's not like on the ground to the shortstop. It's not like suddenly the personnel is going to do like a complete 180. Like, I mean, maybe like somebody like Wilson Contreras will start hitting, but I don't think it'll have anything to do with the hitting coach. He's been in the league for a decade. Like he's just a big leaguer, you know? And I don't know. It's weird because I agree. I think he should have been fired probably 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago. But now it's like the heat's really on him. And it's like the one time I don't really think it's his fault. Like he went into the offseason and it was like, we need somebody that can hit for power. And we also need to cut down the strikeouts. Part of cutting down the strikeouts would have been at least trading an outfielder so Yoshida can play every single day. Bringing back Bregman would have cut down the strikeouts and also like kept the power, at least at worst, the same as it was last year. And then adding Contreras as a guy, I mean, he strikes out. That's going to be part of his game, but he adds to the power. And like, if you had brought back Bregman and had Contreras, I'd feel pretty good about the top, half of the lineup. But you didn't. You brought in Caleb Durbin, who's a noodle, and he's striking out a lot. And it's just, we talked about this before, Jack. It's like such inconsistent messaging where Breslow will say one thing, but I don't think he actually knows what he wants in a hitter, because he doesn't understand hitting because he was a fucking reliever, like I have such a fundamental distrust for the front office and ownership and the manager that they may be fine over the course of 162. They may be a playoff team, but as far as actually building out a contender every year or even this year, I don't believe that they know what they're doing enough to actually do it. It just seems like they're building a team to get to the playoffs and lose in the wild card round. And they're okay with that. Like when DePoto said, we're just trying to win 86 games. It's like the Red Sox, that's what they're doing. They just haven't said it.
Yeah. And I think, with the lineup thing also, it's like in the having 8 million outfielders thing, like Cedon rested today after a 2-hit game yesterday. And I think Cedon's a guy who, as streaky as he is, after a 2-hit game, you kind of want to keep building that. You want him to kind of get into a rhythm, because when Cedon's hot, he kind of has that Jackie Bradley thing, not just with the defense, but where when he's hot, he can carry the lineup for 2 weeks at a time. And when it's running cold, it's running cold. It can get ugly with Cedon, and he swings at every pitch he sees, and he's an automatic out. But he can also hit 500 over a 2-week stretch and win you a lot of games at the plate, not even with the glove. So like after a 2-hit game, I'm not exactly like rushing to put him back on the bench and like kind of cool off any momentum he might be building.
Yeah, and this lineup isn't good enough where somebody like Masataka Yoshida should not be playing every single day in some capacity. Like I understand he's a DH and left fielder, and you have 4 DHs and left fielders, or 2, Duran and Roman, especially with how they're weird they're being about Roman Anthony. So they have 3 left fielders / DHs with Yoshida, but he should get at least one at bat every single game unless you're up or down by a bunch. Like at that point, just let him sit. But like, I don't know. Like they're talking about not wanting to chase. They're talking about not wanting to strike out, and they want to put together good at bats. And then they're like, oh, a guy who's probably our second or third best hitter, he's just not going to play for 4 days. And then go get him, buddy. Mason Miller's on the mound. Nobody can hit Mason Miller. Like literally since he got traded to the Padres, he gave up 2 runs in his second outing. He struck out 61 in the last 28 and a third innings. How do people make contact against him? But like, yeah, Masa, it's 20 degree. It feels like 20 outside. You haven't played in 4 days. Go get him in a 1-run game. Drives me nuts. Brian, how would you fix this lineup? Would you just send Pete Fatsi to prison, or where are we at?
Yeah, well, we had a member of the Weekend podcast who was a big Fatsi fan, as you know. There was a lot of hate going on for I think just about every show. We brought up basically what the hell's going on with the hitting coach, But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Yoshida had 3 hits today and 3 RBIs. Throw him on the top of the lineup. He's not going to strike out. He's not hitting. He's hitting 231, which on this team is pretty good. Ride the hot hand. Whatever. If he falls, he falls. Maybe he gets hurt. I don't know what happens, but put him on the top of the lineup. See what happens. But yeah, you don't have any superstars. You don't have any studs. And it's kind of. I don't think this team is a 2-7 team, but I mean, they're not the best team in baseball by any stretch. But, you got to play the games. You got to see what happens, but they just haven't found the right combination. But you're right. The inconsistency, Jordan, it's crazy. And the thing that drives me nuts is this team can do whatever they want. And then, we have a lockout next year. And I just want like a good memory of like watching baseball before I get a whole year of no baseball, But maybe I don't. Maybe like if this year sucks, then I don't care if there's a lockout next year because it's like whatever. I'm not missing anything. This team sucks anyway. But then I'm like, but it's April, so I mean it's way too early. But I mean even last year they needed a good right-handed bat. Remember they put Navarez way up in the lineup because they just needed that jolt. And then he hit pretty well until we realized that he played hurt all last year, which I didn't know until later on. I guess he had like a knee problem or something. I don't know exactly what happened, but I guess he was hurt for a lot of last year. Durbin had that one hit and like, oh, wow, you figured it out. No, he didn't figure out shit. So, yeah. Wong got a couple of hits. Does he have more RBIs than he already did all of last year already? I mean, he had like one good game and it was like, holy shit,
He had 7 RBIs last year, so he's getting there.
Yeah, which is just wild. So, see what happens. But I mean, pitching was supposed to be a strength of this team, but, Weiser, he's shit in the bed. But, yeah, they got a hit. But it's way too early. But I can see why people are frustrated.
Yeah, I'm just the way that they've gone with third base specifically has really irritated me over the last, like, again, we're in less than a calendar year. They went from Devers to Bregman to Caleb Durbin. Like, they're like speed running going to like a JV third baseman. I don't know how I'm curious to see how they're going to somehow downgrade this offseason at third base. Like,
welcome home, Jeter Downs.
Yeah, bring him back. Where is he? Is he in the NPB? Or you go to the KBO? I know he went overseas.
I know he's in some international league.
Let's see. Where's Jeter Downs at? Let's do a quick search. I clicked Jeter Downs' name and it showed me Masataka Yoshida's face. That was a nice surprise. I enjoyed that. Give me 1 second. He is listed as a free agent. He was in the NPB last year though. So yeah. He did home run Garrett Cole. Dahlbeck is in the NPB. Could bring him back. He did play third, so I guess there's that.
Jeter Downs played for Nicaragua in the WBC this year.
He did.
Yeah, he had a walk-off, didn't he?
Yeah, had a home run, 2 RBIs.
Yeah. Good for Jeter Downs. Knows how to hit a timely home run and nothing else.
What about Jeremy Sands? Does he still play baseball?
Oh, that's a great question. Probably not, right? He's got to be like pushing 40. What's he up to? Let's see.
He had that 1 year with the Albuquerque Isotopes, and I'm like, he is made for Fenway. He is just made for Fenway. It just didn't pan out.
He last played in 2021 in the NPB.
Oh,
He had 20 home runs that year, though.
that's what I'm saying.
He's
He was
only
good.
38. Like, I mean, Craig, I mean, you were going nuts for guys that were 34 plus this winter. Like, why not?
Right.
Why not Jerry Sands? Let's bring him back.
He's a
They did-
scout in Japanese baseball now.
Yeah, I mean, so he's still around the game, so he's got to.
Yeah.
I think he
He's
knows his way.
probably pitches.
Do you think he's used the ABS system at any point, or like?
Well, it's good for fan interactivity.
Yeah,
I
is
learned
it
that
good for
today on the Nesson broadcast.
how about scouts? Is it good for scout interactivity? Let's see. Let's go to Craig Breslow and find out what his thought process is on it. Man, I really don't like listening to that man talk. I really don't. Like, I was in line at TD Garden waiting for them to open the gate, and I looked up into, I don't know what it's above the like hub hall. There's like that little like bar with all the TVs and stuff. And I see Craig Breslow on my screen. And I immediately was like, I don't even want to begin to think about what slop's coming out of that man's mouth. I don't know. He frustrates the hell out of me. I don't know. It's sometimes like, I know people call him an idiot because, you know, we're just basing it off of the roster he puts together, which is, I guess, I mean, fair enough. If he puts together bad rosters, maybe he deserves to be called an idiot. But he's clearly a smart dude. Like, he knows baseball. I just don't think he knows hitting at all. Like, he's like, oh, we just won't let other teams score runs. And he just thought that saying that meant it was going to happen. But like, at some point you have to take the lead to win. Like, you can't win games 0-0, you know? You have to at some point go up 1-0 to have a chance to win.
But Jordan, drunken sailor off season, what would make Jordan happy? I mean, I know we're 2-7, but what would they have done? Like, what you know? Not saying that the moves wouldn't have worked and they wouldn't be 2-7 because hamstrings and whatever, you know. But like, what could they have done that would have alleviated this? What are you saying? Get Bregman and what?
Well, so they've been really weird about Marcelo Meyer too, ever since spring training. Like, this whole. Okay, let me restart with my thought here. I saw somebody, we were talking on Twitter. Somebody brought up IKF. All right. And I know that saying his name means I'm probably going to get banned from StreamYard in a second. But somebody brought up IKF, and like, he got paid $6 million this year to basically start opening day and never play again. He has 5 plate appearances. Why is he on the roster? And somebody replied to my tweet and said that they think it was because he was somebody with MLB pedigree that would keep Marcelo Meyer like motivated to like earn a spot. Why the hell are you paying Isaiah Kiner-Falefa $6 million? And if you have to pay IKF to motivate Marcelo Meyer to earn a job in the majors, that is a cultural issue, and he needs to be banished. Like, get him out of the organization, because if you want to talk about culture, somebody that you need to pay IKF $6 million to motivate to play better does not belong here. And if the Diamondbacks were really like all about Marcelo and like Connelly Early for Ketel Marte, okay, bring him in, especially because you already have 1,700 pitchers on the roster. Like, they were just so weird about how they addressed their team. They were like, you know, where we talk about like the Mets, whenever they start struggling, which is every year because of the Mets, they're like, let's just throw more money at it. And instead of like changing anything about their philosophy, they're like, let's just throw more money at it and it'll get better. The Red Sox were like, oh, we're losing hitters. Let's just get more pitchers. They're like, oh, Bregman's gone. Let's bring in Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, it's amazing, Jordan, though. Remember, what was it? Not even 2-3 years ago, we had like the big 3 of offensive players and like no pitching.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, we're going to draft a bunch of pitchers. Now they have what? Arias and
Justin Gonzalez in Greenville.
Yeah, right. And like, what? There's no huge pipeline. It's all pitchers now, which is great to have pitching. But then what hitters have they signed?
Yeah. They have they've bungled so far. It's still early. Again, I don't want to like, because I know how this is going to go, and I don't know if you were in the room yet when Jack and I were talking about this. They're going to be like 4 games under 500 at the end of April, right? They're going to be like 500, maybe like give or take a game at the end of May, and then they're going to win like 20 plus games in June. Like they do this every year, right? And then they're going to get to the deadline. I literally walked through this whole thing. They're going to get to the deadline. They're going to bring back Rob Refsnyder, and they're going to sign some absolute jabron off the street that's like a lefty fucking poop slinger, and they're going to bring him in as a reliever, and then they're going to go and like win like 87 games. And I think, Jack, you said they're going to get Schlittlered again. It might not be him, but it'll be somebody.
It'll be him.
Well, it may not be, because maybe it's Toronto. Then they'll get you Savage. No,
it's gonna be Schlittler again, and then he'll be like dunking on people from the Lincoln, and like it's gonna just be a whole problem again. And then at Capo, and it's gonna be a mess.
And then we get to do it again next year when we somehow downgrade at third base again from Caleb Durbin.
We won't be doing it next year, though. That's the thing. We'll just be
that's true in 2 years.
Baseball fans complaining about those assholes that do the Celtics podcast.
In two years, when they still have, and like I think, what'd you say, 2031, they'll still have all the outfielders.
Massa will be extended.
But at this point, he probably deserves it because he's their best hitter. He's got a 151 WRC plus. His OPS is over 800.
Good. Everyone hates Massa, and like there's been less Massa hate on the timeline because he's been hitting well. But like it felt like all of last year, everyone wanted to just like release him. And like, I don't think people realize Massa's a really good hitter. And I understand he starts slow usually. This year, that hasn't been a problem. And I know he's had injury issues. And yeah, he's making probably more than he should be considering the lack of power and not being a great defensive player. I don't think he's the worst outfielder ever, though, the way some people act.
He's getting paid fine, Jack. If IKF is making $6, Massa's
exactly.
Like it's not our money. You know, you can't argue that. But it's just really frustrating because it's like, okay, well, hey, you know, the guy didn't hit 30 home runs his first year. It's like, well, he wasn't going to do that anyway. He's a great complementary player, but when people expect him to carry the team, it's just not going to happen. But if they actually did their fucking job and had other guys on this team that could do stuff, and he was like a number 6 or 7 hitter, you know, it would be fine. He'd be icing on the cake.
Totally. And it's why, like, I really wish if they were going to go out and get a guy, like for me this offseason, the guy who I really loved and ends up going to a division rival is Okamoto. I thought, like, if you get Okamoto at third base, like, I would have way rather given Okamoto the contract Toronto gave him than give Bregman the contract he got from the Cubs transparently. And, you know, he's a solid defensive third baseman. Nothing incredible, but he's solid. And, like, once again, not a huge power hitter, but he does have 2 home runs in 8 games so far. Obviously, very small sample size. I'm not like, oh, because of what people are doing at this point in the season is how we determine who we should have gotten. But I thought Okamoto represented like a really good value on the open market, and like to add another Japanese player into the pipeline, I think would have been good in attracting future free agents, which they've had an issue with. Granted, I don't know how hard they've pursued a lot of these guys since Yoshida, but like it would have helped. And I think Okamoto, like if you replace Durbin with Okamoto in this lineup,
that's huge.
And you still have Kyle Harrison and David Hamilton, even if not in the major league roster, but as trade chips for something else. I think you feel a little bit better about how things are going.
Yeah, he was a 30 and 100 guy in Japan multiple years.
Exactly.
Last year when he was hurt.
Like, I think everyone overthought Murakami, and I liked Murakami more than the consensus was, because when people were like, he's not good against high velo, he wasn't facing high velo nearly as much as he would here, and he's young. So like I was kind of like, he'll adapt, and he's hit a lot of homers so far, but he also is another lefty bat and a bad defensive player. So I understand if you were like, that's not what we need right now. Sure, all for it. But Okamoto, as a solid defender, a righty,
and he can play first as well.
Exactly. He gives you versatility. If like you had Contreras get hurt and Casas isn't ready yet, you can move Okamoto over to first and you know, Meyer at third or something.
What did he sign for, Jack? It wasn't crazy money either.
No, it was $464, I want to say.
Yeah, which is that's not going to break the bank.
Yeah, he did not get paid a ton. No. He's on a very, very solid deal. I really do think that they just didn't know. 460 is nothing, especially for the Red Sox, and it's like a team that's so eager to not give out bad contracts, or they're so afraid of giving out bad contracts. They're like obsessed with only giving out bad contracts, like I don't know. It's
Unless
a weird,
he
they're
asked
in a weird
Yoshida, hey,
spot
should I go
here
play in
with
Boston? And Yoshida was like, don't come
yeah.
here. Not come here.
They'll tell you to
don't
burn
come
your
here.
glove.
Yeah, and maybe, I mean, for some, like if it was Murakami, that might not be the worst thing in the world, but then they'd be competing with each other for playing time.
Right.
It's just weird the way they've gone about it, because also to your point, Jack, with Kyle Harrison as either trade fodder down the road this year or as depth in AAA. Like if they had traded for Ketel Marte, and I know that there's the makeup issues behind the scenes, like we don't know how valid they are because he's not. Like I'm not talking to anybody in Arizona. I don't know if there's real stuff there. But if you traded Connelly Early for, like, you're basically saying, would you rather have traded Meyer and Connelly Early for Ketel Marte, who's a superstar, by the way, like a guy who legitimately has carried lineups in his career, or Kyle Harrison, David Hamilton, Shane Drohan for Caleb Durbin, and you have Early and you have Meyer, but you're still dealing with the growing pains of Marcelo, and to a degree, Connelly as well. I mean, really, it's just been the start. Wasn't his best command wise, but I don't know. I'm still taking the established star, because you need superstars to actually have a good team. Like that's been like the main thing with like a lot of these Cinderella teams. Like there's a reason they're a Cinderella team, because they don't have the superstar player that can like actually carry them through, a playoff series. And like if you get Ketel into the building and you sign whoever to play third, some Joe Bag of Donuts, or you sign Kazuma Okamoto, who is again not getting paid a whole lot. The whole outlook of the team, like it's a matter of, like, to a degree, like at this point they're 2-7 in August. This 9-game stretch really won't matter anymore. But how I feel about this team when I look at the lineup, I'm like, I think like Jack, you said earlier, the pitching staff will be fine. The starting rotation especially will be fine, barring injury, which is not ever something we're predicting. I don't know how they're going to score runs, because there's nobody in the lineup that I look at and I'm like, you have an extensive track record, except for Wilson Contreras. You have an extensive track record of being a good major leaguer.
And Story does. It's just
and
like
Story does. He's just 34 years old and like very clearly not the same player he was in Colorado. So like I like, and Duran's track record is like 80 games in 2023, and then like the year he #said it in 2024, and he's just not the same player anymore either. So it's like at this point in the season, it's just a matter of how we feel about the team, and it's like pitching staff will be good. I still don't know how they're going to score runs, and that's the frustrating thing, because I think if you're going to have a bad team, and maybe they aren't bad, but if you're going to have a bad team, I'd much rather lose games like 8-6, like today, but like consistently. Like I know they're going to score. It's just a matter of they can't hold other teams off the board, because it's fun. Like runs are fun. Losing 5-2 all the time is awful. Like yesterday's game, the weather be damned. That game sucked. There was like Randy Vasquez is not horrible. He's a big leaguer, but he carved them up. He pitched into the 7th inning. Randy Vasquez. And then Walker Buehler oh my God, I almost lost my mind seeing he had 4 Ks through 2 innings today. I literally thought they were going to get gamed by Walker Buehler. Then Walker Buehler showed up.
Yeah, but after the third inning, Jordan, didn't you feel a little better? They scored 3, they scored, the runs. You're like, all right, they scored 4 runs in the bottom of the third. You're like, here we go. But then the 4th and the 5th, they just shit the bed.
Yeah, Ranger just gave it up. And then like with some help from Narvi, because like I don't understand the back pick there. Like maybe if you throw him out, obviously it's a great decision, right? But like, what are the odds you're going to throw him out? Wilson Contreras was like 9 feet behind him too. Yeah. So like, what page are we on here?
Wasn't there, yeah.
There was no reason to do that. And then like only bad things can happen when you try to be a hero in that spot. And like, I know there was this whole thing, like, did Machado try and kick the ball away? Which, by the way, even if he was, phenomenal. Like I applaud that. That's ridiculous that he was able to actually do that. That's a small ball he just kicked out of midair down the right field line. But then you make it 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, and the way Rangers been pitching, especially in spring training, he was awful. And then against Houston, he was awful.
Wasn't he awful in the WBC too?
Yeah, that's why he was behind the 8 ball coming into the season, because his WBC starts were so short because he sucked in the WBC. So you try to be a hero and you end up hanging your pitcher out to dry, and like Wilson or Nick Castellanos in the big 2-6 gets a 2-run single because you throw 88 miles an hour. Yeah, I mean, if only. I thought when I saw where the pitch was located, I got the in-play runs and saw 88.5 cutter piped. I'm like, that might hit me in the head in line here at TD Garden. I'm glad it was just a 2-run single. But like Ranger didn't have it today. He hasn't yet this year. I think he'll be fine. But I don't trust that this team is capable of scoring 6 runs in a game more than like maybe 2 more times in April.
Yeah, and they're not going to face Walker Buehler again.
No, in fact, they're to face Milwaukee next, and they're like,
it's kind of a shame Kyle Harrison started today, because if they were going to get games by Kyle Harrison at Fenway, that would be really funny. Like I'd have to laugh at like 6 shutout innings of Kyle Harrison ball while David Hamilton steals 3 bases and just laugh maniacally at it.
Yeah, they're going to miss, because he's on the IL. They're going to miss Harrison and Quinn Priester. So one of them.
David Hamilton will still steal 5 bases this series.
Probably, especially because I guarantee, I mean, Wong's probably playing tomorrow, right? Because Bayo's starting. So he'll get that game. And then God forbid, David Hamilton, by the way, has a .458 on base percentage right now. Just for those keeping score at home. This is God, he's hitting .235, but a .458 OBP. He's got 4 steals. He has been caught, though, so it is possible. Yeah, so if Connor Wong gets a hit tomorrow, I guarantee he's going to start again in this series. And then we know that David Hamilton's running all over him. I'm so not looking forward to this week. I really am not. Like, I like the writing is on the wall for them to go back on the road at 3-9, or maybe even 2-10, and that's disgusting. If they're 2-10, I might actually like wave the white flag in April. I've never done that before, but at 2-10, I might have to. I might start banging the drum for people to lose their jobs. But yeah. Anyway, the home opener was pretty cool. 37 minutes in. Let's talk about some good stuff, right?
Question before you start. I know you
sure.
guys, whatever. Well, 2 things I want to say. Jack will laugh his ass off when I bring it up. But the first thing is, so no Roger Clemens at the thing, which is kind of funny, but then he was at Worcester. I'm like, scheduling, really? Like, what's up? But before we get into that, Jordan, do you know who Tony Connelly is?
Yeah.
Matt does not.
That's a true thing that happens last week, yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Matt, I'm speaking directly to you right now. I'm looking into the camera. Matt, come on, man. That's brutal. That's brutal.
He tried to pronounce his name 4 times, which I know it's a hard name. It's like Garcia Parra if you've never seen it. But it blew my mind. Now, I know I'm old as dirt. It's me and Kev. We're the old guys. I get that. But like Jordan, I know you're a part of the team story, whether you want to be or not. Jack, you're a crazy fan like me. I could not believe, because Matt knows way more about baseball than I do. I'm not going to say him, he's savant level like you are, but it blew my mind. He didn't know who that was.
That is wild. That is wild.
Jack, what was did you try and hold it all in? Like, how was that?
Yeah, I was a little in like disbelief for a second. I was just like, damn, that's crazy. But also, like, as I said, like I went to like high school with like a bunch of the Connelly and stuff. So like because I'm from Swampscott, so Nahants, they all come to our high school. And so I was just like, wow, this is happening. It's crazy.
Do you like the Volo pizza? Is that good?
It is good.
Yeah.
It's good. It lives up to the hype.
Yeah. Okay.
The Detroit style, like the New York style is whatever, but the Detroit's really good.
Yeah.
What's that place called?
Volo.
Volo, VOLO.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's right when you hear the sirens from Lynn stop and you cross the border, it's right on the left.
Oh, perfect.
So like it's like police cars. Then as soon as it gets real quiet, look to your left, it's right there.
I'm gonna
knows
write
exactly
that
what I'm talking about.
I'm writing that down. I gotta try that place. All right, cool. Cool. We're if the season gets bad enough, we're gonna start doing food reviews on the show.
They don't have tables in there, so we can't do a live episode from Volo.
We still could.
It's takeout only.
I'll
It's right,
hold
it's
my
right up there
webcam.
with Square Deli in Everett.
Yeah.
Square
We could just
Deli.
cross the street over to the beach though and do like a beach pizza episode. So
Ooh, a scenic episode.
Not in Lynn though. We're getting past Lynn. We're not getting out of the car.
We are. I know all about being around. No, absolutely not. Get me the hell away from Lynn. We're good. We are good. Sorry to the Lynn viewers that are
we just
deeply
lost like
offended
half
right
our
now.
viewership.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
We're gonna get canceled.
We're gonna get canceled in Lynn. I mean, that's a bad place to get canceled.
There's no coming back from getting canceled in Lynn.
No. I've had some baseball experiences in Lynn. I'm not well liked there. I was a very annoying 17-year-old. But that's beside the point. But yeah, that's wild. Tony Conigliaro, not known. I'm gonna have to have words with Matt about that.
Is there anything more ridiculous though, as a Red Sox fan, that like you wouldn't know? Like, I mean, it's right up there with like Sandlot, where the kid doesn't know who like Babe Ruth is.
I mean, if he struggled with Yaz's name, that would be really funny.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree too. Like, I don't think, like, if we're talking like just the 2000s, like if he didn't know who Nomar was, we may have to. There may need to be some disciplinary action.
Okay.
At least Tony C was like in the 60s, so like,
yeah,
like there's some. I'll give him some grace. It's an abomination, but we're not gonna.
Well, like they had the
suspend him.
restaurant though, right near Fenway. Like,
Yeah.
So like, even if you didn't know who he was and didn't know, like, I'd be like, oh, Tony C's, and there's stuff all over the wall. Wasn't it David Ortiz's for like a minute, and then now
Jerry
it's what
Remy's.
Soba, whatever the fuck they call it. I don't know.
Yeah, and then Sojuba, yeah.
Yeah.
But
to be fair, Matt's
actually,
from Maine. They don't have internet up there, so maybe like, I gotta give
I mean,
him some credit.
There's also a Tony C's at the North Shore Mall in Peabody, and one of my friends from high school, the font is a little weird if you're familiar with the font of the Tony C's restaurant. And he was like, "What's Johnny O's?" with complete sincerity. I was like, "Oh no, buddy! Like, completely wrong. It is not Johnny O's."
Well, they closed the Tony C's in the Seaport, and then wherever there was another one, I think they closed. I know the one in the Seaport closed. They laid everybody off, but
Y'all see that? Y'all see Fenway Johnny's got closed down too.
I was livid last show. So they closed the Regina's, which is bullshit because I hate Blaze Pizza and I hate Sal's. Once they took Regina's out of Fenway,
not getting sponsored by either of those places.
Yeah, it drove me nuts. They had Papagino's, which I said is like the middle. If it's worse than Papagino's, it's crap. If it's better than Papagino's, it's good pizza. That's kind of like Papagino's is the baseline.
I think it's fair.
Yeah. And then Regina's used to be because I'm in Canvas Alley. You know, I'm in the corner there. Well, not in the 2-3s. My neck doesn't hurt. I can actually see the game. But yeah, I'm not poor. But so then they got rid of Papagino's. Yeah. And then they brought in Regina's, which is great. And then Regina's left now at Sal's, which is awful. But at least I could get Regina's before the game. Thornton's Grill was my go-to because nobody knew about it. It was great. And then they closed that. Now it's a Turkish restaurant. Nothing against Turkish food, it's just different. And Blaze is gone, and then Johnny's closed too. So I don't know what's going on. The Red Sox buying that too. I'm going to put some other shit restaurant in there. Like the Yard House is the only place I go to now, and it's like I get sick of the menu because it's really just the same shit in different styles.
Yeah, and I feel like the Yard House is everywhere. I actually saw a Yard House in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, well it's a chain. Yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah. I just hate going near Fenway because I don't want to wait an hour and a half for a hamburger.
Yeah,
you know.
No, that is fair.
I'm never getting a bobblehead if I do that. I'm just not having it.
Yeah, no way of getting a bobblehead if you eat around Fenway, unless you show up way early.
Yeah, and then Eastern Standard's good, but you got to go all the way through Kenmore Square and then up the hill.
Yeah, I think there's going to end up being food reviews at some point on the pod this season. I like at some point, like I'm going to get the lobster poutine. Like I'm going to bring this up on every episode I'm on until that happens.
The regular lobster roll in there is not awful.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that lobster poutine. I got in line for it yesterday. I tried like hell to find it pregame, but I didn't know. I should have checked on Twitter.
Is the ice cream line and the ice cream with the fried dough line still the same line? So like it's just this massive line. It sucks because like I just want the ice cream in the helmet, but you have to wait in the idiot line for everything else.
Yesterday wasn't fair too because it was so cold, so everyone was in the concourse anyway to warm up. So like even when you weren't in line, you were in line, you know? Like I wasn't trying to wait to throw at the kids corner, like check my velo. I couldn't feel my hand. I would have been throwing like 4 miles an hour anyway. If I could feel my hand, I'd be throwing like 9. But
Do you know if they still have the David Ortiz bobblehead where he looks white in the case?
no, I did not. I wasn't looking. I was literally
always
looking.
like, they still haven't got rid of this thing. And then they had the one that they recalled. Remember that one where it looked nothing like
that
him?
one was bad.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, I did not see that. I had tunnel vision. I was looking for any sort of menu that said lobster poutine on it. But I did find where it is. So now whenever I go again, might be Tuesday. We'll see.
Where is it?
There. So if you go to the kids corner
Okay.
and you go past it, it literally says like Fenway Fries on the sign. That's
So
where
like
they have
where the
it.
mock clubhouse is, where you can get your picture taken? Over
Yes.
there? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then like it's aptly located because it's right next to the restroom. So like if it's gonna kill you, you at least are in a safe space to die. You can go like die on the bathroom floor with some dignity.
Baby changing table.
In honor
lobster
of
poutine.
Easter, having your last supper of the lobster poutine.
Exactly. But there was going to be a scathing review or an in-depth review, maybe not scathing. We'll see I'm terrified I'm going to like it though. Like I really am.
What's the over under 30 minutes before you shit your pants after you eat it? Or
It depends. I filled it on the weekday show and we were talking about it because I was dreading it on the weekday show. I was still dreading it when we recorded the Celtics pod yesterday. But by the time I had gotten to Fenway Park, I was amped up for it. I was so excited to try it. I'm like, this is going to be so good. I don't know why I was maybe it was because it was freezing and I was delirious. That's probably exactly what it was. But they were sold out of it. But yeah, but Isaiah suggested because I don't know if it's a bit, maybe it's a bit now, but every time I record a TikTok, I do it while I'm driving because I don't know. I find it somewhat therapeutic. It's like it helps me pass the time. I'm just ranting. Nobody's in the car with me, so I'm just talking to myself like a psychopath.
This was from the same guy you said that I couldn't reach home plate because I drove all the way from the Cape and my arm was bothering me, right?
No.
Is that a famous quote from some guy that? No, that's okay.
I'm not sure. But but he said that I need to take the lobster poutine and bring it to the car and review it while I'm driving home. I'm like, that is going to be the nastiest shit ever. Because if they sell out by the 5th inning, I'll have to buy that pregame probably, or like by the end of the second. So that's going to last 2 hours in my seat, 30 minutes for me to get back to my car. And then, another 5 minutes to get out of the parking garage. And then I have to start recording. So that's like what? 4 hours old.
Wow.
That will put me in the hospital.
Plus the people in the car that have to smell it. Yeah.
But it's true. That is where I parked. But the thing is I have to start driving before I can record it. So I can't take a bite until I've left the hospital. So I have to then turn back around.
I said this to Jordan when we were talking about it on the Celtics show. Because we don't talk about basketball on that.
We don't at all, ever.
No, the team sucks. I understand. There's nothing to talk about. I get it.
Yeah.
It's like
imagine the lobster poutine, you're sitting in the bleachers in mid-August. There's that smell. You're just trying to watch a game. It's gonna be awful.
Yeah, it's right up there with using a porta potty on July 4th, near the Esplanade, and you're like, what am I doing with my life? I just have to pee, but I need a fucking gas mask to go in here.
Yeah, I definitely have to try it before it gets to 60 degrees for sure.
I think when the college kids leave Boston, that's the cutoff date. Anything past finals, it's going to be a horror show.
Yeah, so maybe I should go on Tuesday just to be safe and just not even go to the game. Buy a ticket, buy the lobster poutine, and just go home. So that way, at least if I'm doing my review while I'm driving, it's only 30 minutes old as opposed to 2.5 hours.
So I was talking to Matt about this, Jordan. I want to give you a lot of credit here. It's been a couple of years. You're in amazing shape right now. You probably are some of the best shape that, you've probably been in your life, probably, I'm guessing. Just from historical pictures I've seen of you.
Yeah.
You can probably fit under the fence where the Nesson pregame is if you really want to get in. Because there's about a 2-foot gap. And you can slide right. I did it all through the 80s.
Interesting.
And so you don't even have to buy a ticket. You just slide right in, get the poutine, and slide right in.
That might be the move.
Yeah.
At this point, since they're 2-7, they might just let me in. I may not even have to.
2-7. I doubt they're even guarding the gate.
Oh, that reminds me. While I was in Cincinnati, so they have the 75, or I don't know if they had it just for in the Reds Hall of Fame, they had like a 75 World Series kind of exhibit. But they also have in the Hall of Fame all the World Series trophies. And it dawned on me that because we're in the habit now of like waiting 20 years and then releasing a sequel, the Town 2, they should make a Town 2. And it's robbing Great American Ballpark, the Reds Hall of Fame, of the 75 World Series trophy.
The 75 World Series trophy, it should be the Red Sox trophy. I completely agree with you.
Actually, hold on. You might be cooking. And because like in a sequel, you always try and like go bigger. Like you can't just do like the same scale as the original. It has to be bigger. So instead of one heist, Fenway Park, it's 3 heists, Bush, Great American, and City to get 67, 75, 86.
Ooh, how many cameos can we sneak into that movie? Because if we're gonna rip Happy Gilmore too here, we got to get all the cameos. Like we're gonna get like every single Red Sox living legend from those 3 teams. And then Joe Mazzulla's got to be in it. Like there's not going to be a Town 2 without
part
Joe
of the
Mazzulla.
heist.
Oh, he's 100%. He might take all 3 trophies. He may not even need a crew. He's just doing it himself because he's Joe Mazzulla. I think we may need to workshop this idea, to be honest, and I want to pitch it to him. So, like, I got to find a way to communicate with Joe Mazzulla and pitch him the idea of robbing these places of the World Series trophies.
I've told you back channels, Jordan, how to find him where he is. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to throw that out in the public, but he's around. He's around. He's not hard to find. If you like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you can find him. That's all I'm saying.
That he is. That he is. He's definitely easy to find. He's such a character. I really want to know. I need to know how like he is in like just a normal environment. Like just how much of it, because people think that he like how he is with the media is like a facade, and it's like he's just like trying to be like edgy and like weird. I believe he's fully being authentic. Like I think that's just him.
You don't think he flips the switch like Belichick did, where like Belichick would be like a hardo, and then behind the closed doors he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" So you think he's like that all the time?
Yes.
No, is Mazzulla married?
He's with the same woman all the time, so I'm guessing, yeah.
I would be surprised if he is like not that way with his wife.
Could be. I know he's an ultra religious guy too, as well.
Yeah. His wife's like arguing with him, and he's like, I see this as a learning experience. And she's like livid with him. And he's like,
he's like, probably the only person who is right 100% of the time, and he's always wrong. And I speak that from personal experience. So you cannot win an argument with your wife ever. Even if you win an argument with your wife, you still lost.
You lost.
So
yeah.
You just don't okay. Yep. All right.
He'll do his I'm glad I lost that one routine.
Which is maybe worse than insisting you won. He's being like, I'm glad I lost this fight.
That's right.
He'd also tell her that he intentionally started a fight to see how she'd respond. Like he'd do
and then she did a good job.
And she did a good job. Her reaction was tamer than he was expecting. And he'd be like, I got to try harder next time. And her life must be hell, man. But like, I bet they're so happy together too. Like, I'm not just saying that they're miserable together, but her life must suck. She's got to be on her toes 24/7.
The best interview I saw him give was like, "Oh, well, how's Jaylen Brown doing? Great. Did you talk to him? Yeah. What'd you guys talk about? We just mumble. What did it sound like?" He's like, blah, blah, blah. And the poor reporter was like, "Oh, okay."
I told him I love
my
him.
favorite is still. I love that we're 53 minutes in and have not discussed opening day one bit.
I tried.
That when he talked about how like he watches the interrogation scene from The Dark Knight with all the players all the time, and then they like asked as a follow up like, "Oh, well, like between Jason and Jaylen, who's Batman and who's the Joker?" And he was just like, "I want to be the Joker," with like complete seriousness.
I can see that.
Well, how about when he was on Edelman's podcast and he was talking about like, how they have the escape rooms, and he's like, what if we did a situation room? Like, let's go get dinner, then go reenact the Bin Laden raid.
That's $1 million idea.
It genuinely is. Like, I really do think like people would spend insane amounts of money. Unfortunately, none of us normies would be able to go to it because the rich people would keep doing it. But like, a great idea by Joe Mazzulla.
I think it's amazing too, the transition from like Brad Stevens, who was like, just this even killed guy who showed like very little emotion. Then you had, Udoka, who just was like, hey, I love this team a lot, but maybe a little too much.
Yeah, I
They get
love
rid of
this team
him.
so much. I love my staff a little bit too much as
Yeah.
well.
And then Mazzola comes around, you're like, what are they doing? This guy's in his 30s, head coach. Like, this is just stupid. Like, what's going on here? And then they get a new owner, and you're like, this isn't going to go well. And it kind of all worked out.
And he is batshit insane, which is awesome. Like, he is
You want a
37
batshit
years
crazy
old.
coach, though.
And
You don't want a guy who's like, oh, hey, buddy, what's going on? You want a complete, guy who's just, he's all about that coaching.
yeah, when Tatum went down and like hurt his wrist against Orlando last year, and he screamed at him to get up, like crazy. And people thought Ime was endearing because he would like tell them that they were playing like assholes. Like Joe Mazzulla might kill somebody on this team if they actually started playing like assholes. He like on camera, he'd be like, he would want to go to trial as a defendant, as like in a murder trial. Like he'd see it as like an unreal learning experience. Psycho he is. But yeah, anyway, Red Sox won opening day at home. That was cool. Sonny Gray actually pitched really well.
Roger Clemens didn't see it, but
Roger Clemens did not see it. I think it's kind of cool to a degree. Like, I mean, with all the winning that the Red Sox have done in the 21st century, like we really honor our teams that didn't win a lot. And I actually think that's really cool. And it's easier to say that having, some World Series to look back on. But yeah, weird Roger Clemens wouldn't show up. They're so weird about him anyway. Like, I still don't understand why they won't just retire number 21.
it's weird that he was not at Fenway, but at Worcester. That's the weird thing to me. Because
No
it's like
ties to Worcester.
the Worcester, they're not owned by the Red Sox anymore, right? Didn't they get sold? No, they're not.
Let me check that. I should know that, but let me check
the whole thing was with Lucchino was running the Pawtucket team, and then they moved to Worcester. They built the park, and then I almost 100% sure they sold the team last year or 2 years ago, or they were going to.
Yeah, they are majority owned by Diamond Baseball Holdings.
Right, and they own like a bunch of teams.
Yeah.
I think they own Portland too.
Yeah, I don't know who
The River Renegades, and
Yeah, they own a bunch of minor league affiliates. I don't know who retained Lucchino's stock, but there's a bunch of like the local stakeholders that are still owning part of the team. But I don't know who took Lucchino's stock when he passed away. But
so it's weird that like the Red Sox, it's the minor league affiliate, but like the ownership doesn't own that team. But then he went to Worcester, but then didn't come to. It was, I mean, they had. I don't mean to throw Matt under the bus, but they had guys that maybe on household names like Bruce Hurst, Oil Can Boyd, Rich Gedman, Tony Armas. Let's see, Schiraldi was there, Stanley was there, Marty Barrett was there, Wade Boggs was there. Like every single guy on that team that I can remember, except for Roger Clemens.
They're
Rice, Dwight Evans. I mean, it was crazy. Everybody.
There's such a weird relationship with their former controversial right-handed pitchers. They really do, because I brought this up on the weekday show, and this has nothing to do with the Red Sox because it's a completely different like entity. But like, why does Kurt Schilling have a Car Shield ad? That I find really odd. But he's like not welcome within like 100 feet or 100 miles of Fenway Park. And like for somewhat good reason. I think, if for nothing else, the whole aftermath of the Tim Wakefield thing really should have been like the cherry on top of like, yeah, let's just not let this dude near Fenway Park again. But yeah, with Roger Clemens, because they still won't give anybody number 21, but they won't retire it, and that still drives me nuts. Like I'll give a little bit of grace to Walker Buehler that he didn't get to wear number 21 for the Red Sox, and that will be partially why he was terrible. That and him just being bad. But who isn't bad? Sonny Gray. He's not bad. Let's talk about something good with the Red Sox. Sonny Gray was really good on during the home opener. Really nice bounce back start from his start in Cincinnati. I kind of had a feeling going into that game that he was going to have a double spy game, the Reds start. But it was nice to see because he had never lost to the Padres, but he'd also never won at Fenway Park. So that was kind of like a recipe for disaster. but he was awesome. I thought it wasn't like he was, the Sonny Gray that we've come to learn over the last few years, like punching guys out, getting a ton of whips. He only had 8 whips and 3 strikeouts, but 6 innings, 2 earned, and really should have been 6 shut, maybe even 7. But the Sadon sun ball kind of screwed things up for him in the middle innings. But Brian, what were your thoughts on Gray in this outing? What worked for him that didn't work necessarily in game 1 for him?
Well, just basically what you covered. It was kind of he did what he was supposed to do. It was kind of like Suarez. He's been kind of a disappointment, but I think Gray. Way back when he was with Oakland, I was like, wow, that's the guy I want. Then he went to New York. I was like, fuck that guy. But then he kind of got his shit together, and then I think in the offseason when they brought him in, I'm like, this is going to be a good move here. And it seems like it works pretty well. He's got location. He's got good rapport with his catcher. It kind of looked like, things were going pretty well. But, ball in the sun, can ruin a bad day. So.
Yeah, it's funny because after his first start, I know you guys talked about the like Kluber and Walker Buehler thing with him. But like he's been it feels like he's been a future Red Sox since like 2017, right? Or like 2016. So I guess even the year before he got traded to the Yankees. So like now that he's finally a Red Sox, it's like, oh, he's going to be terrible, right? Also, not to completely change this subject, but I just remembered while talking on the topic of like future guys who've been future Red Sox forever. Completely forgot Tommy Kahnle's in AAA right now. By the way, just randomly occurred to me. I needed to get that out of my head so I can go back to what I was talking about. But he was, but Sonny was great. He was pouring in strikes. I don't think he walked anybody. Actually, yeah, he didn't walk anybody because the radio broadcast made a huge point about the walk of Machado in the 9th inning was the first walk all day by Sox pitching. 3 Ks. Managed contact really well. It wasn't like he was getting super lucky. It felt like everybody was making weak contact except for the 3 batters in the 4th inning. Like Andujar, that was a routine fly ball, but he did hit it pretty stiff. Gavin Sheets, it was a good pitch, but he put a good swing on it, hit it pretty hard. And then the one mistake he made all day, Campusano nearly put out of the ballpark, blasted that off the monster. But other than like those 3 batters.
Yeah, about those batters, Jordan. Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah. So yeah, Jack, what do you think he was trying to say there?
Moment. We're back. Though.
Oh, wait a minute. He's back.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. There you go.
I am back. Brian's not back on my screen, so I'm a little nervous right now.
I'm not missing.
Kluber had like a good second start with the Red Sox and then fell apart. But I was very encouraged with Sonny Gray. Jack, why don't you give your thoughts on Gray while I refresh and hopefully get Brian back on my screen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was obviously a very encouraging start. I wasn't too concerned about the first start. It happens. And as I said in last week, Gray's a command pitcher. Sometimes you're just not going to have great feel and it's going to go poorly. Not today, a few days ago, the sweeper and the cutter were both really, really good. And if those pitches are working for him, he's going to have good games. And yeah, it was just kind of some bad luck with the Sun. I love that Cora quote today. The Sun is 10 million wins, no losses. You can't beat that opponent. It's true. I mean, he's right. That's just a thing you have no control over ultimately. And when I saw people like having meltdowns over Sadon, like, oh, is he not that good on defense? He's overrated. It's like, no, just shit happens. And it was a good start by Gray. I'm encouraged. It was a good win. Offense looked good. It was just a fun day overall.
Yeah, nice to see Wilson Contreras blast one as well because he's been really fighting it. It feels like every time he makes contact, it's pretty good contact, but until that home run against Michael King, which also is an added element to it as well, because like when you face good pitchers, I'm okay with not scoring a bunch of runs. Well, I'm never okay with not scoring runs, but I'm not like, oh my God, they can't score. It's Michael King. Like he's a good pitcher. I understand that that's likely going to be the case, but they put together good at-bats against him. I felt like other than the Wilson walk and then like 3 pitches later, the inning was over. I think it was the 2nd inning. But they put together some good at-bats. They had some good contact against him. Obviously Wilson hit the home run and then Marcelo left on left. That was a thing of beauty.
Am I making too big a deal about him doing that? Or is that a quality pitcher, a quality at bat, hit against the lefty? Like Is that enough? How many more of those do we need before we don't see this platoon anymore?
I don't know, because they love treating young guys like that. Because they did it with Benintendi, they did it with Devers, they did it with Casas for a while. They've done it obviously with Willier and Jaron. So it's weird because you have to earn the right to play against lefties,
right?
But like you can only earn the right to play against lefties by hitting lefties,
right?
And you can't. And if you're not playing against lefties, you can't hit lefties.
No, it's kind of like a decision Cora makes in spring training, whether you have decided based on like Willier didn't really face a lot of lefties last year. I know he had that lefty home run last year that was nice, but like in general, Willier didn't face lefties at all. And I get it, Rob kills them. But then this year it was like we're gonna give Willier the full go ahead, which I'm all for. I think he's earned that. But statistically, he hasn't earned that really. It's more just vibes based what they're doing.
Is it just like an experience thing? They're like, oh, you've been in the league a couple of years. Now you can hit lefties. And like the results aren't there, but they're saying, well, he's been in the league a couple of years. And he's probably, I'm looking at that lineup. How many other guys can hit 30 home runs in that lineup outside of him? Abreu.
Contreras, if healthy, maybe.
Yeah, but like, I mean, if he hit 30, that's a good season for the
Red
Sox.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Abreu could probably hit 27, 28. And I don't think people will be very, very surprised if he could do it.
Yeah, he's the only guy in the lineup that I feel pretty confident if he plays 130 plus games, he'll get there.
Right.
Like Wilson Contreras, it's funny because I agree that I think he can hit 30 home runs if healthy. Yeah. He's never hit 30 in a year in his career. He's also never been healthy enough. Like the year he hit 24, he only played 105 games. He hit 22 in 113 games in 2022. He hit 20 last year. He hit 15 in 84 games in 2024. So like he's a guy who hits at a 30 homer pace, but never hits 30 home runs. So maybe this year is like a full-time first baseman. Although I still think he's going to play a handful of games behind the dish. We're going to see him catch a few times.
I really hope not.
It's going to happen. Accept it.
Is this like when you told me Connor Wong was going to be the everyday first baseman when Casas got hurt? Like, I don't know if I can trust you.
To be fair, I also thought Yasmani Grandal was going to get called up, and that just never happened.
Which is probably a good thing.
And my thought yeah, true. Especially because he retired like 5 minutes later. My thought process was that I did not like Abraham Toro. And you know, I was wrong for about 6 weeks, but then for the last 6 weeks of Abraham Toro, I was very correct. I cannot believe how long they just let him die at the major league level last year.
I couldn't seeing him in the World Baseball Classic was such a jump scare every time he came up. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, what are you doing here, Abraham? Because he's playing for Team Canada too, which is not a team I necessarily would have thought he'd be playing for. And so every time he came up, I was like, oh no, you're terrible.
Contreras is my Mike Napoli of this team. Like, I want him to be awesome. I want him to hit home runs. I want him to be like, I want pitchers to shit their pants when he gets up at the plate. I really hope that happens.
I think it will. He started super slow last year. I think he started 0 for 19 last year. So like it might just be a thing. Like some guys just are. Like, I mean, Casas was. I mean, I guess we don't know if he was just bad last year, because I always talk about 2025 Casas like he was 100% gonna have a good year if his knee didn't blow up. Which, by the way, I don't know if that rib injury has anything to do with what happened in 2024. If so, that's horrifying, because that was 2 years ago. If he's still dealing with that, that's pretty sad. But like, talk about a guy who can't get out of his own way, and it's not even his fault. Like, he just is always hurt, and it's not like anything, like he's not protecting himself. It's just like the most catastrophic injury imaginable all the time.
How much longer is his leash?
I don't think he has one anymore.
Yeah.
I think he's just here because he's too good to just give up on. Like, there's talent. Like, he'll go somewhere and be good, but he has no value. Like, they have more value in him just staying in AAA and being like, if Wilson gets hurt or they do decide to have him catch, then have him come back. But if they try to trade him, they'll get nothing for him, which is weird because they treat other players like it's okay to just deal them if they have no value, and then they go to Milwaukee and we get Caleb Durbin. But I don't know. I don't think he has a leash. Like I really don't think he'll play for the Red Sox unless they think they absolutely have to call him up.
Wow.
And I feel honestly, in a weird way, I feel very similarly about Christian Campbell. He's just so far down on the depth chart that like 4 guys have to get hurt for him to see the majors again.
Yeah.
And they give him an 8-year deal. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have, but like it really looks like they shouldn't have already. He's already like in Rusneyville, and I feel bad for him because he deserves better than that.
He probably doesn't smell as good though. I can still smell Rusney Castillo right now. The cologne he had. He might not have been a major league quality ball player, but he smelled great.
I do wonder if Rusney, like if any other team had him, if he actually would have ever become a good major leaguer because he was a good AAA
Baltimore guy. Or one of these teams, these B-level teams back in the day. He would have been fine. But it just, it was the reaction to the Yankees getting a guy and the Red Sox to get the guy, and and that was that. And he did okay when they first, was it 2014 or 15? He came up at the end of the season. Yeah, and he did okay, and he was a good defensive player, but he was a 250 hitter with about 18 home runs and 70 RBIs, which they just didn't need. And that whole loophole of being able to keep him on the minors so he wasn't on the major league payroll, I mean, it's a genius move. It's like, 9-year deals in the NFL and you only get to pay the bonus. You can release the guy. It's great for ownership.
Yeah.
That was Kirk Cousins contract.
I hated the way that was announced, by the way. Like if it's what do you say? It was like a 5-year, $192 million deal, but in reality, it's a 1-year, $20 million or whatever it was, or 1 year, 20 guaranteed. Like, well, how about we talk about reality? How about we just say he signed a 1-year deal for $20 million with an option that could make the deal as
ludicrous as
5 for 192, which by the way is how old is Kirk Cousins? Because I feel like he's been in the league for like, is he that old?
I think so. Around there anyway.
I feel like he's been in the league for like 40 years. Kirk Cousins is
he's 47. Nailed it.
Can you imagine he sees like every dollar of that contract? The Raiders just have him for 5 years.
That actually, there's a better chance I'm seeing every dollar of that contract.
I mean, they're going to draft Mendoza anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. He's going to make $20 million as backup. He's got it made. He just keeps getting paid to do nothing. It's great.
He's the best agent ever.
Yeah, he does. And he is the best agent, definitely the best active agent in sports. From I think Gordon Hayward's agent's got to have something. Got to be higher up there as well on the Mount Rushmore of agents, because he was the first player to ever get 2 max contracts, like 2 free agent max contracts. I know the guys get extended and get
and like that first max contract was a no-brainer. And would have given him that, but that second one was wild. Yeah, like he was good with the Celtics that last year, and then Charlotte's like, let's give him $120 million. He was good for the Hornets too. They were terrible.
How about Chris Sale's agent? It's like, okay, your arm's falling apart in the World Series contract. Then it's like, okay, and then he's like, okay, we'll trade you to Atlanta, and then Atlanta gave him an extension, didn't they? Last year?
Yeah, and then they gave him another one this year, right?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, that's cool.
I sometimes just completely forget that Chris Sale was traded by Craig Breslow too. Like we talk about all these these recent trades that Breslow makes that are like really that he's made that have been like really terrible. And then it's like, oh yeah, he also traded Chris Sale for Vaughn Grissom. Which I maybe I just don't give him as much crap for that, because like at the time I'm like, I understand that it was like he needs to change his scenery. We need something intriguing back. Vaughn Grissom was a dick though. Like he was like in addition to being bad at baseball, he was an asshole. He tried to ignore me when all I did this. I mean, I'm not trying to make this about me, but like, I've heard some people, I've heard other people call him an asshole too. So it's not just me, but like when I was down in Worcester, I just like, he was walking by me. He like walked by me like 4 or 5 different times. And I was like, well, one of these times I'm just going to say something to him. Right. And I'm just like, hey, Vaughn, how's it going? Cause it was like a beautiful day in August, I think it was, or maybe it was late July. I'm like, oh, how's it going, Vaughn? And he like tried to walk by me again. And then he like stopped. Like, he's like, maybe I shouldn't be a dick. And then he looked at me and then like very somberly was like, who knows, man? I'm like, shouldn't you? I asked you how you were doing. I didn't ask you how Justinson Garcia was doing, like just an ass, man. Like, I thought it was kind of funny at the time, and then I heard other people be like, "Yeah, he's an asshole," and I'm like, "Okay, makes sense. That checks."
There you go.
But yeah, Red Sox win Game 1, 5-2. I've never been as miserable at a game as I was in Game 2, though. Like that was brutal. Weather-wise was bad. I was shivering, like my teeth were chattering for the final 4 innings of the game. It got to the point where I was like, I don't care who wins anymore. This game just better not go to extras. So when the Red Sox tied it in the bottom of the 8th, I actually got kind of nervous because I'm like, this is because it was so cold. And I'm like, the Padres are going to have Mason Miller waiting in the wings whenever. So whenever the Padres take the lead again, it's over. But I didn't know how long it'd take for them to take the lead because it wasn't like the Padres, other than today, haven't scored at all this year either. So I'm like, it could be the 14th inning before they score again. I knew the Red Sox weren't scoring again. Like that much was true. The Padres bullpen's ridiculous. They could have brought in Kyle Hart and they wouldn't have scored. But Game 2 is miserable. You guys have any thoughts on Game 2? I like Andre Monastera's hustle. That was cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. I think Connelly, obviously it was probably his worst start in the majors to this point, but the fact that that's his worst start in the majors to this point is like, that's fine with me, especially given the weather. I think people his command wasn't great and the velo was a little down, but like, once again, the conditions were awful. I'm going to show him some grace there. And the changeup looked really good, which is like kind of his pitch that gets me excited. How much that thing drops is beautiful. And his control is generally good. And even in a game where it wasn't that great, like it wasn't abysmal or anything, I think he's going to have a good bounce back start in St. Louis and, on to whatever's next for Connelly. Or is he going to pitch that last game at Fenway? He probably is, actually. He'll pitch that last game of the homestand. Yeah. Oh, no. Wait. Now I'm getting... No, that's Sonny Gray. So he'll pitch that first game Friday night in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Against Dustin May.
Revenge game, Dustin May?
He's been terrible so far this year.
That sounds about right. We don't need to talk about James Tibbs, though. I don't want to. I don't want to. I really don't want to. Who does it look worse for, though, actually? So let's talk about James Tibbs. Let's do it.
Really quickly, Dustin May, 0-2, 15.95 ERA.
How many shots should I do? We said Friday's that game?
Yeah.
How many shots should I do if Dustin May goes 6 shutty with like 9 Ks? I think 10. No, 9. 1 for every strikeout.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do 1 for every strikeout no matter what, unless he gets the loss. It might be 12. I'll be dead. If the lobster poutine doesn't kill me Tuesday, the amount of shots I'm going to have to do after Dustin May shoves it down the Red Sox throat will kill me.
He's given up 13 runs and 7 1/3 innings.
Oh, so he's due for a good one, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he's given up as many runs as Tibbs has RBIs. Yeah, 7 home runs, 13 RBIs in the PCL in 8 games. It's like, come on, OPS of 1.850.
But he wasn't buying into what they wanted.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, he wanted to score runs. He wanted to drive in runs. They were trying to convert him into a pitcher. They were like, "Can you throw 95 with sink?" And he's like, "No, I hit home runs and I walk.
I hit dingers." That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they call me Big Al and I hit dingers. And they were like, we don't like your kind here. Get out of get the fuck out.
Get ready to learn LA Dodgers, buddy.
You know Chad Durbin.
Yeah, freaking hell, man. Well, who does it look worse for that they traded James Tibbs, the Giants or the Red Sox?
Oh, the Sox, because Devers is a good player.
But you do have to look at it through the lens of they absorbed that entire contract. So it's not just a matter of like the next couple of years, because especially if the Giants suck, which they looks like they might, and they're kind of a laughing stock too with the whole like everything Vitello says is like a soundbite. No, I'm not saying like he's a numbskull because he obviously was a good coach in college, but there's already some weird shit going on in San Francisco. Yeah. And like Devers isn't getting any younger. He's already turning 30 he turns 30 in October. That contract's only going to get worse as he gets older. He's already regressed a little bit at first. He played first today. He missed a throw for Matt Chapman. Wonder if Matt Chapman's going to yell at him to catch the fucking ball.
That's
I
not
don't know
what he said, though. That's not what he said.
I think he pulled a full Giselle. He's like, I can't throw the ball and catch the ball.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem. That's why the Giants stink, because he can't throw and catch it. What did he say? He said though, like
no, he didn't say he said anything else. Vitello was like, he was talking about something unrelated to the game. And I'm like, I don't believe you.
I don't need to watch the John Boy breakdown video to know that he yelled at Casey Schmidt to catch the fucking ball. I don't know what's worse though about that. Like, we're going on a rabbit hole here, but like the fact that he did that, like everyone knows when you're talking, like it's like, oh, why on earth does everyone cover their mouth when they talk in baseball? But like, that's a weird time to not do it, right? Like,
yeah,
when you're like chastising your teammate in the middle of the field, like maybe cover your mouth at the very least. But like the reaction to it was also ridiculous, because I saw like Daniel Schneeman's dad, of all people, like Daniel Schneeman of the Guardians, who's like 29 years old. His dad was like ripping Matt Chapman a new one. He's like, Casey Schmidt's still trying to get his feet wet in the majors. I'm like, Casey Schmidt's in year 4. Like, he's 27. Like, he's not 35.
Some of us take longer than others, Jordan.
But Casey Schmidt's been in the league for over 200 games. Like, he's not getting his feet wet. He's just who he is. Like, he just needs to be better. A little damp. His toes are wet. Now he put his heel down in the pool. So now he's
comfortable.
Yeah, he's a young player like, Durant. He just hasn't found his footing yet. He hasn't reached his prime yet.
I can't wait till the first time Alex Cora refers to Durant as a kid this year. Like, that man is literally turning 30 this year. The man is closer to Joe Mazzulla's age than he is Roman Anthony's age. Actually true. That's not just me saying shit. That's actually true. But yeah, we think it looks worse for the Sox that they traded James Tibbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, much worse. It's half a season of a guy who had an ERA approaching 5.
Yeah.
Like, there's no defending. The day it happened, it was a bad trade. I remember when we recorded, I'm like, I would have rather done nothing than do this. Like, I wanted Merrill Kelly, and I wish they did like, if you traded James Tibbs for 2 months of Merrill Kelly, even if he went back to Arizona in the offseason, which it seemed like they had a handshake agreement in place for him to go back to Arizona no matter what. If Kelly pitched well for you, and even if you still lost to the Yankees in that first round, but Kelly pitched 2 months of really good baseball, and Tibbs was doing this in Arizona's farm system, I'd be like, okay, you know what? You took a swing. You went for a guy who's proven he can be a number 2 starter on a team that's gone on a World Series run, and you didn't get the results you wanted. But with Dustin May, you never had that real hope. At best, you were hoping he could be like a decent number 4. Like, you don't push a chip in for a decent number 4.
So, Jack, what is it? Is just talent evaluation on this team is just the worst? Or is it trying to be the smartest guy in the room? Is it Chaim Bloom has a voodoo doll at the Brooklyn?
Well, Chaim just signed Dustin May. So like
but at least they're rebuilding. So it's like they signed him through the lens of, if we can get a couple good months out of him, we can then flip him for an asset. And if he sucks so bad that they can't, they'll just cut their losses and he'll be gone.
Totally.
So like that's definitely different out in St. Louis. And by the way, they're 4-4. So they're doing better than Craig Breslow, by the way.
Chaim.
Chaim.
But I don't know what it is. I mean, I think May was a panic trade. I think they wanted Merrill Kelly or Joe Ryan, obviously. And when neither of those kind of came to fruition, Texas outbid them on Kelly, and Minnesota said, we're not dealing Ryan. They just like panicked and were like, oh, we need an arm. And they had like 10 minutes left, and Friedman just extorted them.
Yeah. Getting James Tibbs, and not even just James Tibbs, but they also got Zach Earhart, who was good for them last year as well. Not in the Red Sox farm system, but the Dodgers. How's he doing to start this year? Because nobody talks about him at all. But I know last year for the Dodgers, this year so far he's off to a slow start. But last year for the Dodgers in 34 games, in Double-A, 282, 391, 466 with 5 home runs and 14 stolen bases. So like, not only was trading Tibbs a bad part of that trade, but like Zach Earhart alone, it might be a better asset than Dustin May. So that's nutty.
Have you followed the money too from Devers to San Francisco, and then they get Bregman, and then they don't sign Bregman? So then does Bregman then become Suarez and Contreras? Like, is it all jive? Like, what's the pipeline there?
Yeah, I don't know because it's like I don't even know if I want to say that they replaced Bregman with Caleb Durbin because it feels like if we're because it feels like they really replaced him with Wilson Contreras and then Caleb Durbin just happens to play third base.
Right.
And
Because, like-
replaced Romy and company.
Yeah. So like when Romy comes back, I don't know what the plan is. What the plan is.
The
there.
only
They
thing
don't know
more
what the plan
the
is
only
there.
thing more ridiculous is when Mo Vaughn left, they signed Jose Offerman, and he played first base, and it was such a drastic change in talent. It wasn't even nearly close, but the poor guy was like, "Yeah, I'm playing first base." It was like when they signed like
make an all-star
Crawford.
team though with the Sox.
Offerman.
Am I misremembering? I
possible.
thought he made an all-star team with the Red Sox.
It's
Maybe I'm just
possible,
making
but I
shit
don't
up.
think so.
Let's see. This is the one good thing about Google. He's a two-time All-Star. He made the All-Star team in '99 with the Red Sox. Yeah.
Okay, all
His
right.
first year with the Red Sox, he was an All-Star.
But he was not great.
And then after that, he was terrible.
Yes.
And then he got banned from baseball
There's that. Yeah.
for punching an umpire.
You're not supposed to do that. But Trevor Story came dangerously close.
Yeah, just freaking CB Buckner, man. What a travesty.
Like, I've never seen Trevor Story.
No. And I've watched him hit the last couple of weeks. He hasn't been that mad at himself.
But he's not even historically the worst
Brutal.
umpire. Matt brought a thing up. Who was the guy that was worse?
I don't even remember, but
There was some guy who's like a lot worse than Buck. I'm like, there's no way. He's like, yeah. So they went to umpire.com, whatever the hell the fucking page is. I don't know. And he pulled it up, and like there's guys that are a lot worse. I thought like Angel Hernandez would be right there, but he wasn't.
Yeah, and Laz Diaz, obviously.
Laz Diaz, like all the guys like if you know an umpire, you know he's bad type of deal. And then the guys that are really, really good, I've never heard of them.
Was it umpscorecards.com that he was on?
Yeah.
I'm opening
I think
it
that
right
was
now.
it, yeah.
Can I look at all season, multi-season? So okay, all the way back to 2015.
Yeah.
What is the expected accuracy? What was the metric he was using? The worst umpire. Okay, so correct calls above expected. This is the only metric I'm using because there are some ridiculous negatives here. The worst umpire is Rob Drake.
Okay, gun to your head. Would that be your first choice? Like,
no.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to come up with that.
Angel Hernandez isn't even. Oh no, there he is. Never mind.
And he's retired now.
Yeah, but Rob Drake, Joe West, and Laz Diaz are the bottom three.
Yeah, Laz Diaz makes sense. That's
Laz Diaz. Yeah, exactly.
CB Buckner is the seventh worst of all time in terms of correct calls above expected.
Okay.
So he's there. He's in the conversation. We're talking Woats. He's there. He may not be Jordan LeBron, but he's like Shaq, Kareem.
Who's the best? Who's the top?
The top is Will Little, 789.9 correct calls above expected. He is lapping the field. Alan Porter, Alex Cora's favorite umpire, Alan Porter, the guy who throws him out every year. I can't wait to find out what bullshit gets Cora thrown out this year. Is second, but he trails him by 212.
So that other guy is amazing.
Yeah, Will Little is apparently the greatest umpire of all time.
Do you know who Will Little is, Jack? Have you ever heard of him?
Okay. Let me see if I click on his name. Does it show a picture of him? It does not show a picture of him, sadly. I don't know what this man looks like.
He does not have a country album like Joe West?
No.
Okay.
He does not. At least, I mean, I don't know. I'm not Googling him.
Okay,
I don't. Will Little's way too basic a name.
It's 3, 4, and 5. Are the people even heard of? Probably not.
Sorry, let me open this back up.
Sorry.
Give me one sec. Multi-season 2015 to 2026. Correct calls above expected. We've got Will Little, Alan Porter, Pat Hoberg, Mark Ripperger, John Libka. That's the top 5.
Never heard of him.
I've heard of Pat Hoberg.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, if I needed to pick him out of a lineup.
Yeah, if it was a police lineup, I couldn't tell you who he is. I could tell you who Laz Diaz is.
Right.
Yes, Laz Diaz. I got jump scared when I saw that he was umpiring in this series. I got scared. I saw him at second base, and I'm like, I feel like I just got threatened. There are not a whole lot of umpires though that if I like saw their face, I'd be like, that's who that is. I just bit my tongue. Jesus Christ.
I'd love to know if there's metrics involved though in the minors that you have to meet to be a major league umpire, or you just have to like your uncle is in the union and you get in too, like an electrician.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you'd think there should be like you could get optioned to AAA
It's like
as an
Hockey's
umpire.
son. Just
Oh,
like
if you suck,
immediately
like
becoming
if you
a
don't do a good job, they're like, all right, sorry, buddy, you're doing PCL games.
Yeah, I mean there clearly isn't any sort of like accountability for umpires though, because how on earth are you at negative 480 correct calls above expected and still allowed to like even umpire at any level? Like I wouldn't if minus 480.6 correct calls above expected. I wouldn't trust him to umpire like Little League at this point. He's not allowed in Williamsport. Sorry. An absolute disaster. I do know what Dan Iasonia looks like. Okay, so also CB Buckner and Dan Iasonia are like in the bottom 10 in this metric. They're in the same crew. So
shouldn't they split those guys up? Like if you're a troublemaker, it's like you sit on that side of the class.
Yeah,
and you sit over
it's
there.
like you can't put you can't sit two best friends together, or in this case, two terrorists.
And do we know them because they're bad, or do we know them because they've done multiple playoff games because they have seniority?
Yeah, I'd say because they're bad. I think at this point we hate like umpires we don't like. Laz Diaz, I don't like. I know of him. I knew of him before the 2021 playoffs, but I think more Red Sox fans know of him because of the missed call to Jason Castro in the ALCS. I don't think it's anything to do with anything. Like I couldn't name you a bad call he's made since against the Red Sox, but like so Red Sox fans I think know him because of that. But a lot of these umpires I know just because they're habitually terrible. Like Angel Hernandez sucked. I only knew him because he was terrible. Joe West is iconic because he had like those funny moments and he was fat. Like, of course, I know who Joe West is. He's a cowboy,
right.
You know, like.
But the thing with Buckner is there was obvious plays that he didn't appeal to the third base umpire and just was bringing the guy up. It was almost like he's just being a hardo.
Yeah, like he basically behaved similarly to another umpire who I hate because of how he treated David Ortiz, but Ron Culpa, another dude who just like lets his ego get in the way of good baseball games, and it's just. Bob Davidson's also in the bottom 25. I know of him because of how bad he is. Although he only has 59 games to count because this is just from 2015 to 2026. But there are some jabrones here for sure.
Right.
Who the hell is Anthony Johnson? He's the only person on here that's umpired one game. And it was in 2015. Who let Anthony Johnson umpire in 2015 for one game?
I'm surprised there wasn't COVID umpires. Like
like the replacement refs that 1 year. Yeah. Where would you get them from? Just like I guess so. That would make sense.
Or college or something or whatever. I mean, most of those guys, a lot of umpires, 10, 20 years ago they were all 60 years old. None of them could like see their knees, if they look down. They were all morbidly obese. I'm serious. There was never like a 30-year-old in shape good umpire. It just wasn't a thing until I don't know, maybe in the past 20 years. But I mean, like when I was in the 80s, they wore the jackets, and everything. They were half of them were ex-wrestlers. It was crazy.
Who is that umpire now that is like absolutely shredded, and they bring it up every single time he calls a game? On Nesson, they're like, "Oh, he's got some sick arms."
Exactly who you're talking about.
God, what is his name? There's also another umpire that looks a lot like Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad. I forgot the actor's name. Jim Wolf.
Yeah.
That's the jacked ump, right? Not the one that looks like Mike Ehrmantraut or my.
I just typed jacked umpire and he was the first one that came up.
Yeah, Jim Wolf is exactly who it is then.
Yeah. There was a guy too. I can't remember his name. He was a referee in the NFL, and he always used to wear his shirt like this, and his arms would be. And he could, all right, first down. He was huge. I forget what his name was.
Wasn't that Hockley?
Yeah, it was Ed Hockley.
Was that him? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, his son Sean Hockley is the Nepo ref.
Nepo ref. Yeah. I have weird takes about that. Not Hockley specifically, but I feel like a lot of people hate on like the Nepo baby. This might be a hot take, but I think if the Nepo baby is like actually good at their job, like we shouldn't call them a Nepo baby. Like Noah Eagle, I think is a good broadcaster. Like he's not like he may get national games because he's Iron Eagle's son, but I think he's a good broadcaster. So like I don't care.
No, I agree. I think it's more just like when it's about like the approach. Like I think like why am I blanking on his name? The actor who's in The Boys. Why am I blanking on his name?
Colin Hanks.
Nah.
Give me a sec.
Yeah.
Jack Quaid.
Yeah, like he's very open about like, yeah, I'm Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's kid, and that opened a lot of doors for me. But also, like, I do have to work hard and like earn stuff too.
Yeah.
Just like I had an easier time at the beginning, and it's like, yeah, I respect that.
Right.
It's when like people are like, I would have been famous no matter what. It's like, well, that's not necessarily true. So
I like the opposite, Jack, where it's like what Clint Eastwood's kid. He's like, yeah, I auditioned for like a movie, and he's like, no, you suck.
Yeah.
He was like, well, but I wanna. He's like, all right, you can play a pussy in what was the movie there with the Asian family there? We Get Off My Lawn type of deal. What was the Eastwood movie? Oh, Torino. There's a part where like there's this kid is just like a complete like dork, and he's like, yeah, you can be in the movie as the dork. Like that's all I'm gonna do for you. I'm not gonna give you a good role in the movie.
There's some Scott Eastwood.
Yeah, who's a good actor.
But yeah, weird random Nepo talk. There's like I feel like you get the opportunity because of who you know, but like you still have to be good to
Exactly
keep the opportunity. So
the Red Sox had a guy, Mark Sullivan, his dad, who was like part owner of the team. He sucked, but he made the Red Sox. He's still an RBI baseball on Nintendo. Like you can pinch hit him, and he hit 153 for the year. He's like the only guy I know who's in a video game who's just that bad.
Nice. Where were we? we went off on a tangent, and it's 10 p.m. and now my head is.
There was a game today.
There was a game today. That game
we
stunk.
have to talk about that one.
Massa had 3 hits, so that was pretty cool.
And a stolen base.
And a steal. He drove in 3
With
runs.
that running form. And then Alex Cora did the running form.
How long do we think it'll be before Massa plays again? Does he play against Brandon Woodruff tomorrow?
He should. 3 hits.
He should.
Yeah.
He won't. He will not.
Jordan,
he'll get the
new celebration. Jordan, what is it? What's going on? Explain this to me.
Oh, the humping at second base. Yeah. So I don't know if have you ever seen Key and Peele, Brian?
Oh
yeah. So like the Hingle McCringleberry thing where you can't do 3 pumps or it's a penalty. So they do 2 pumps at second base.
Okay.
But then I don't know if they did the like Marcelo does the fake pump and then will like do the Matumbo wag.
Right.
I don't know if that's because Felger was like that looks ridiculous. So now it's like a bit where like when G-Man Choi was doing the dancing in 2018, so they started dancing for celebrations. Like they hear the stuff that's said about them. Like do they hear what
Marcelo
Felger
listens to Michael Felger and he's like, okay, fine. If Michael Felger tells me now.
No, but Marcelo is definitely chronically online, so he probably saw a clip of Felger saying shit about it.
So it was on TikTok. Okay.
Yeah, without question. I mean, maybe not TikTok, but like Instagram Reels, that seems more of Marcelo Meyer's speed. I love the content that came out of spring training where they like ask a question to the entire team. Like, and Marcelo and Roman Anthony would like stand there for like 45 minutes to come up with an answer. I'm like, guys, it's the 4th inning and you guys are still trying to figure out like what animal you would be. Like if you could pick any animal. I'm like, Roman's gonna get back to us after the WBC at this point. He is nowhere near reality right now. We should talk about Roman's arm, though. That's something we definitely need to discuss before we preview the Brewer series. Does he just have a wet noodle for an arm? Like that's a real thing. In Cincinnati, I knew his arm wasn't good. We all knew his arm wasn't good. That was like a big reason why when people were talking about trading an outfielder, it was like, it can't be Willier because Roman doesn't have the arm to play right field. But last year it was accurate. And like better than it is this year, not even just from an accuracy standpoint, just like a zip on the ball. Like, I thought the throw in Cincinnati on the Dane Myers walk-off was him just trying to keep the throw low, and he just skipped it, and it was just a shit throw. But then in Houston, he threw another ball that was like a disaster, and then like he's now reaching the catcher, but it's like way offline. Still doesn't have a whole lot of zip. The single yesterday by Ramon Laureano, that throw to the plate was a disaster. I don't know if it was just him like DHing all game and then randomly getting chucked in left field. It was also like 20 degrees from after wind chill. But is Roman just a DH? What's up with his arm? Is he hurt? How do we feel about Roman's arm right now, Brian?
He had a good arm in the minors, and he did come up and play a lot of right field, even though I thought defensively it's like, okay, you have Abreu, you have, say down in center, so it made sense to put him in left. But yeah, early on, you're right. It's something's different or changed, or maybe he is hurt and doesn't want to say anything, but the arm is not what it was last year. It's not what it was the year before in the minors. All these guys pitch from, 8 years old on up and through high school and college. So, he definitely has a decent arm, considered like normal humans. But as far as Major League Baseball, something's up. But he did miss time last year, at the end of the season. So I don't know if maybe he overcompensated or, altered his mechanics or did something different kind of because he was trying to play hurt and then, maybe the rehab, who knows. But, he probably looked at some of the other guys in the organization. He's like, I can't afford to miss any time right now. So I'm seriously, No,
and, you might be right.
Yeah. And, he's kind of looks at Marcelo. He's like, hey, you couldn't find your car. That was a story. But, I don't want to not find the outfield.
Yeah.
But so maybe him being able to DH is kind of a blessing in disguise for the Red Sox. So maybe that's why they were so pro 4 outfielders. We're going to make it work. Maybe they know something we don't, Jordan, And
yeah. I do actually, now that you bring it up, like him getting hurt last year, he did strain his right oblique, and maybe it is a mental thing, and it's nothing physical. It's just entirely like he just can't mentally get himself to like let it rip. And it's why his throws are all over the place. But Jack, what do you think about Roman's arm? Are you officially #worried that he's going to be DHing now, and we're going to get Jarren Duran for 140 games out in left field?
No, it's going to be Massa. And because isn't that the funniest possible option is after a whole campaign of Massa can't play left field, Massa ends up playing the most games in left field more than either Duran or Anthony? Yes.
That would be very funny.
So, like, that's what I want. I'm not, like, worried in terms of, like, long term. I think he's probably dealing with something, whether it be an injury or, like, what we talked about a little before we started recording. Maybe it's just the weather. He's not, used to throwing in this kind of condition, and he'll get a handle on it. But, like, yeah, he obviously does not have the arm that either Wilyer or Cedon have.
Even Jarren.
Yeah, totally. But do I think it can be passable, especially in left field? Yes. But I do think, like, the way things are right now, either if he is injured or if he is, just not used to this weather and needs it to be a little warmer for him to get more confident and accurate on those throws. If it is Duran or it is Massa, just especially at Fenway with Massa, sure, I don't care. I just want the best players playing, and I don't necessarily care, especially left field DH at Fenway, where you're rotating the guys, because it's not that hard. Not to sound like, Billy Beane and Moneyball, but like, it's not that hard, Scott. Like, anyone can play left field.
It's not that hard, Craig. It's not that hard.
Manny did it for 8 years. Like like we saw Benintendi play left field for like 6.
Johnny Gomes did it.
Johnny Gomes, Daniel Nava played left field. Like,
Hanley's the only disaster.
Yeah. And I do think Hanley was a good enough athlete where if he didn't like brutally assault his shoulder, he may have figured it out.
He still hit balls that I've never seen anybody hit that hard in my life. That ball that he hit off of, who was the guy there for the Betances? I mean, he just crushed that ball. Crushed it,
Hanley might be the only bad contract the Red Sox have ever handed out where I was like objectively just fine with the way their career played out. Like I loved Hanley Ramirez. Maybe less now knowing that he like wanted to kill guys on the team. I cannot believe it's so funny too, because like Google works, like Google's a thing. Like Brock Holt, I mean, I guess he can't openly say it, but then like a member of the coaching staff, was it Andy Barquette, was like, yeah, it was Hanley. And the Canley told Brock Holt that he was first. And Brock was like, I will not tell the world that it was Hanley Ramirez that threatened to kill me randomly in Tampa
It was just someone who got DFA'd in Tampa Bay. But no,
I think Hanley was the only Red Sox that got DFA'd in 2018. So he didn't even have to tell us where it happened. We would have known it was Hanley because nobody else got cut because that team was a buzzsaw. Everyone that played for that team except for like Hanley and Noe Ramirez were good.
But don't confuse him, Jordan, with the guy who actually killed somebody, Urbina.
Yes.
And went to jail.
Actual like convicted murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, kind of funny that the two guys that got DFA'd in 2018 were both named Ramirez. Like the Dodgers get two Hernandezes that homer in the playoffs. The Red Sox get two Ramirezes that get DFA'd. But they did win the World Series all the same.
Yeah.
But
some things they work out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, only two players were DFA'd that entire year, and it was Hanley and Dan Butler.
Dan Butler, the catcher. I remember there was one game with Dan Butler. I think he only played like 4, so there weren't many games to choose from. But I think it was in Baltimore. And because nobody went to Orioles games then because that was like the heart of the time that they were like awful. He hit a ball and it sounded like he got like every stitch of it. It went like 240 feet and was a lazy fly ball. I'm like, that sounded like he blasted that like 500 feet. It went nowhere. Dan Butler. But you can never take away from him that he was a big leaguer. He was a big leaguer. And you know who else you can't take that title away from? Tyler Uberstein. Look at that segue. It's almost like I've done this for a couple years. What, 2 1/3 today? Should not have pitched a third inning. I cannot believe they tried to squeeze a third out of him. I get the bullpen short, especially with no Whitlock. But like if Zach Kelly could have given you an inning, like at that point, wouldn't you have been just trying to get it to Chapman again?
Yeah.
So like why Uberstein for the 8th inning? You know, you tied the game in the 7th. It's like, all right, this guy that again wasn't good enough to make the major league team out of spring training. You're getting the 8th inning against the heart of the Padres order. I don't know what's going on.
And then Kelly goes down and Whitlock comes up. And that's going to happen. Yeah.
That's my guess. Yeah. I don't know what has to happen for Uberstein to get sent down. Probably. I mean, I don't know. It's a race between Oviedo and Sandoval to come back at this point. Which man, the Oviedo thing is really weird. I don't know why the Red Sox do that where they're like, this guy's not hurt. And then a day later he's on the IL.
I still think there is a decent chance it just is Weissert Phantom IL. And they keep both Kelly and Uberstein in the majors. I think like this Weissert thing, they need to put a pause on him because this can't keep happening.
Put him in Rice. Yeah, it's like he's pitched 5 games this year and he's given up a bomb in 3 of them. And it's crazy because it's like clockwork. It's like free engagement on Twitter to just be like, oh, inherited runner. Here comes Weissert. That guy's scoring.
I miss Bernie.
I do miss Bernie too. There is one.
You know, he would have pitched in all 9 of these games.
He'd be having so much more fun here. How's he doing in Colorado? Let's do a status report on Brennan Bernardino. He pitched today, faced 3 batters and struck out 2. He has pitched 4 2/3 innings.
He's pitched 5 games already.
He's pitched 6 games already.
Well, he started a game. He was an opener for one of them. Yeah.
He's pitched 6 games already for the.
No matter where he goes.
Guy was an Uber driver, until his arm fell off, and now he's 6 games. Man. He knows his salary, right? Like he doesn't have to pitch per appearance. Yeah.
I bet he wishes it was per appearance. He'd get paid more.
Yeah, maybe.
Who would get paid more if it was by appearance? Would it be Shohei or Brennan Bernardino? Bernie has pitched 4 2/3 innings this year. Yeah, he's pitched 6 games already.
And the Rockies have played 9?
The Rockies have played 9. Well, actually, maybe 10. But it doesn't matter. He's pitching 60% of their games.
What pace is that? What we gotta look.
Yeah, let's do some quick math here. So the Rockies have played 9 games. The Rockies have played 9 games. So he's pitched in 6 of them. So he's pitched. So if you He is on pace for 108 appearances.
No, more. So according to ESPN, because he pitched today, he's projected to pitch 122 games this year.
Really? Oh my
so
god!
So it says 122 games pitched, 20 starts because he did start one game today, 85 innings, only 61 hits, 41
That's
walks.
pretty good.
Yeah,
that is bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't.
122
I'm
appearances.
so glad that's just the memo with Bernie is he will pitch every day.
I am gonna have to check tomorrow to see if he pitches. Like I guarantee you, he. How many days has he pitched in a row? Only 2 days in a row.
Oh, so
He's
he
not
could go
pit-
tomorrow.
He's
Well, no,
not
he
pitched.
pitched the 27th, the 28th, the 31st, the 1st. Then he had a couple days off, probably because it snowed in Colorado.
Probably, yeah.
And then he pitched.
There
the
had to
4th.
have been an off day mixed in there, just a
And he
baked
pitched
in
today
routine.
too, right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
he
so
pitched
he'll-
4th and 5th. Yeah.
So he won't pitch tomorrow. I don't know if the Rockies play tomorrow. I might have to keep up with the Rockies.
No,
just
he
to
might
see
pitch
how many-
tomorrow. He might pitch tomorrow.
How do the Rockies play tomorrow?
Yeah, they play the Astros tomorrow.
He's 100% at least facing Jordan.
What's the money
he's
line on
striking
the
out.
appearances? Like, we got to figure that one out.
I need to find a prop somewhere on Bernie appearances.
Will he pitch today?
Can
It's
there?
like, minus 100.
When they
How
do
much
the
money-
live betting odds on Nesson, it should have just been all 162. Will Bernie throw today?
How much
Sponsored by
money
that.
do you have to? How much money do you have to put down to win $1 on will Brendan Bernardino pitch today? Money line, yes, just yes. If you bet $1 on him to not pitch that day, congratulations on finally being able to own a home in the United States.
Yeah.
You are a part of an elite tier of human being. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
That is fantastic. Yeah. So he will. Well, I mean, if the way things are going, he will not pitch tomorrow, and then maybe not on the 7th as well. But then he will pitch the 8th and the 9th. That is absolutely a thing that's happening. So, and I'm also glad because he's only allowed 1 run so far.
He's good.
Yeah, he's a good pitcher. I miss him. I miss Bernie.
I'd
I
rather
was-
have Bernie than Moran.
I'd rather Bernie than Greg Weissert.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking just lefties. But
Yeah.
obviously, I'd rather have him than Weissert. I'd rather have him than most of the guys in this pen, if I'm being honest, that aren't Chapman, Whitlock, Slayton.
Yeah, I honestly would probably rather have him than Coulomb too. Maybe not, but like I don't know. Coulomb doesn't do it for me. Like he's good, but there's something about him I just don't like him. Like
You don't
I
trust
just
him?
not that I don't like him. Sorry, I don't want to make it personal. I don't think he's good. Like he's good, but like there's something about him I don't like. I think it's the fact he throws like 91. But so did Bernie. But I loved Bernie. Maybe it's because Bernie
Because he
pitched
pitched every game.
because I knew if there was one thing that was going to happen any given day for the Red Sox, it was that Brendan Bernardino was at the very least going to start warming up in the bullpen.
That cow meme will forever live in my head rent-free.
The Bernardino reminds me. So I'm gonna shout out one of my teammates growing up real quick. Shout out Noah Wallers. He's getting married in November, by the way. So shout out
Good for
Noah.
him.
Congratulations. There was a game that I started when I think it was 15, where it was like 102 degrees outside just in general, and we were playing on turf. So it was like it felt like 115, and I was fat at the time. So that it had to have felt like 130 for me. There was like an assembly line from the snack bar to the dugout, like filling me with water, in between every inning. I pitched so poorly that he warmed up every inning of the game. I'm not kidding. There was not a single inning he was not throwing. He probably threw like 400 pitches in the bullpen that day, and he never came in. Never came in. I gave up like 6 runs, but I threw a complete game. I'm not shouting myself out. That was a dog shit start. But he threw like 400 pitches in the bullpen. So shout out Noah. I'm amazed his arm is still intact. He did have to go lefty submarine after that year. So I may have killed him at the same time. But shout out Noah. And congratulations as well.
Yeah, congratulations on the marriage. Yeah,
Yeah,
and the future
What?
sex,
or
or the previous sex. But once you get married, you have sex.
Yeah, the previous
You know where I
sex.
was going with that, Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah. Congrats on the sex you at one point were having.
Speaking of amazing performances, though, I looked at like modern era. So 2006, which is a million years ago now. Scott Proctor. I'm sure you heard that name before.
I have.
83 games in 2006.
Is that the record for like the most?
Well, modern
appearances in a
era.
year?
There's I was in Marshall in 1974 had 106, but I mean that's 1974.
Bernie is on pace to beat that though.
122. Yeah, he is.
Let's see.
He probably has a good shot at getting probably 70. Just the way
Weissert got to 72 last year.
Yeah, so
And Bernie would have done that if they didn't do that stupid stash him in Worcester for like 2 weeks routine.
Yep.
If Bernie was allowed to stay in the majors those 2 weeks, he could have gotten to 80. I think he would have pitched all of them.
I wonder how upset Alex Cora was every single time Brandon Bernardino got sent to Worcester. Like he had to have been miserable, right?
He's like, that's the only guy whose name I know when I call the phone.
it's the only guy who picks up.
I also love when they went to the White House when Trump was like, I know you to Bernardino. Like, what is that?
Because he'd probably watched the last 5 Red Sox games in preparation, and Bernie pitch was the only one that appeared in all 5. Just Eddie Player was the only one that appeared in all 5 games.
That's right. He didn't know who Casas was.
Yeah.
He never plays.
Yeah. He has no idea who Tristan Casas is, but he knows who Brendan Bernardino is. And I would like to believe that's the one thing a politician has said that was not a lie, is that Donald Trump does know who Brendan Bernardino is. Oh, man. Mike Marshall also has the number 2 all-time appearances in the season. He did that in 73 and 74. Did he pitch after 1974? He did that for 2 different teams, by the way.
The Dodgers, right?
Yeah, he pitched. He threw 92 games in 73 with the Expos, and then 106 games in 74 with the Dodgers. And then he pitched. Then in 1979, at 36 years old, the Twins used him 90 times. 2.65 ERA though that year. Each of those years, he was actually really good, so I can understand why his managers wanted to use him so much.
Paul Quantrill threw 89 games in 2003. Holy shit. No wonder why his arm fell off against the Red Sox in 04.
Why on earth can I not? Oh, I should probably look at just relievers here.
Yeah, 86 games in 2002, 86 games in 2004. God.
Oh, because I'm filtered by qualified. Because I'm like, why is Mike Marshall not on here 3 times? Because there's not been a whole lot of 90 appearance seasons for a pitcher. Yeah, Bernie will join that list.
Marshall did it in 79. He had 90 games, and then Marshall had 106 games in 74.
How many appearances would Bernie need to make to get down ballot Cy Young votes?
Well, what's his ERA? Like, if he let's just say hypothetically he finishes the year with a 2.5 ERA, right? 90 appearances, I think he'll get a Cy Young vote.
Yeah.
Because he's not a closer. So like that's the thing. And he is a Rockies reliever, so he could be the closer and you'd have no idea.
But if he's the closer, he's not going to pitch every day. Right.
That's a good point. Okay. Not to immediately go back to this, but why can't I find Mike Marshall's he must have been like a loogie, yeah?
Yeah. Especially without the 3-batter minimum. You could just put him in, face a guy, take him out.
Because I filtered it by 50 innings to try and get him on this list 3 times. Because he has here we go. Oh no, sorry, it was 89 appearances. It was not 90. There have been
so Pedro Feliciano had 92 in 2010.
There have been 14 89 appearance seasons in MLB history for a reliever, and Mike Marshall's 3 of them. You know who else is on here? Red Sox legend Julian Tavares. In 1997, pitched 89 games, and he had a 3.87 ERA. What were the Giants doing pitching him so much?
Holy shit, you're right.
That's not even a good year. I mean, I guess for 89 appearances, I can't be an asshole about the ERA, right? Like 3.87. There had to have been a couple
more. 77 appearances and 74 appearances in 2004 and 2005, and then signed with the Red Sox.
Man, Julian Tavares kind of sucked too, right? Like he was not, and he was also an asshole too, right? Like nobody liked him except for Manny Ramirez. Yeah. Julian Tavares was not a good Red Sox, but he somehow lasted 3 years with them, or 2 years and 9 appearances. Wild. 1 year he pitched 57 games for the then Cleveland Indians in 95. He had a 2.44 ERA. That's the only year he had an ERA under 3.8. Oh, no, I lied. In 2004 with the Cardinals, he had a 2.38 ERA. But you know what happened to him in 04 as well? Bombed by Mark Bellhorn. Real person.
Yeah, 2000 he had a good year, 11-5 in Colorado.
Yeah, I guess 4.43 ERA for the Rockies. That's basically like he should have probably got Cy Young votes.
Yeah. No, well.
All right, shall we preview this series with the Brewers now that we're at 2 hours? What did we talk about tonight? How did we get here?
Brennan Bernardino.
Shout out Bernie. Can this count as like an honorary appearance for Bernie? Can he get up to 7 appearances because he appeared in the pod? We gotta get Bernie on the show.
He would do it. He would do it. He's a certifiable nice guy.
I've heard that. I've also heard like his wife is like the loveliest person ever.
They're both amazing people, and if you reach out to him and ask, he will give you an answer. And if it works, he'll do it.
Understood. All-Star break. Brennan Bernardino. Calling it now. I'm pre-firing this. April 5th. We are going to get Bernie on during the All-Star break.
I wonder if we could get Giolito because like he's unemployed right now.
Only if you fix his cable.
If I lie and say I can do it, do you think that's enough for it to like how do we go about this? Like it's like he's paying me by coming on the pod. But then I don't actually go and fix his cable. He can't like remove his appearance. I mean, I guess he could like sue me, right?
He also plays video games too. You could say we're working on,
yeah,
that's a whole thing. So
be like, all right, I will let you beat me in MLB The Show by 50 if you come on Pesky.
But you have to use yourself.
Yeah, he'd probably do it.
He probably would.
Yeah. What's he got going on? He's probably throwing bullpens. I cannot believe he still doesn't have a job. By the way,
why is no one signing him?
His elbow must be Swiss cheese, right? Like somebody must have seen an MRI and there must be like holes in his bones. Because there's like,
yeah, but I'd still want to. Even if you could get 50 innings, I'd want 50 innings.
Yeah, there's got to be opportunities, but I mean, then again, like this is what happened to Rick Porcello. I mean, Porcello didn't have a good 2020, but like he was only 33 years old, and then he just never got a job again.
Yeah. But like Giolito was legitimately good last year.
Yeah, I will give you that. He was good last year. If I never trusted him as far as I could throw him. I felt like every time he gave a run, it was going to be the start of like 7, and then it never happened. So I will give you that.
Want to know what I found out today? Not to keep prolonging this, Stevie Buckner was the home plate umpire of Lucas Giolito's no hitter.
Oh, yeah. I wonder how differently the Cincinnati series would have gone if Giolito started game 2 instead of Sonny Gray.
Might have had a no-hitter that day.
Might have. Maybe the Sox may have won. ABS would have worked in their favor in game 2 of that series. And then they do 3-6 instead, and I'd be a lot happier. Barely, but when I'm unhappy, any sort of happiness is a lot happier. Anyway, Red Sox Brewers. So the best part about going 2-7 to start the year is then having to face one of the best teams in baseball with an elite pitching staff when you can't score runs. Game 1, 6:45 first pitch. Jack will be there. Go say hi to him. I'm telling you to go say hi to him. I don't care if he wants you to or not. Go say hi to him. Buy him lobster poutine. $39.
Yeah,
he will
settle for an Imperial Angry Orchard.
That pisses me off that they renamed the Truly Terrace, by the way. This is very much nitpicky. Yeah, it's now the Angry Orchard Terrace. I also think that that's very inappropriately named. You could just call it the Angry Orchard. I know that the brand is Angry Orchard, but you could just call it the Angry Orchard and it'd be fine. Angry Orchard Terrace sounds stupid.
I agree. I do in a vacuum, I would rather have an Angry Orchard than a Truly though. So I'm all for it.
Yeah. I did not have an Angry Orchard. It was so cold yesterday that I grabbed the first drink I could find, and it was an IPA, and I wanted to. I can't say that on air. I was not happy though.
Are you a guy who, I know you're in a park? Do you use cash so you don't screw the vendors? You're a newbie, new guy, so you use the card. You use the ATM card, don't you?
Well, I don't buy from. I go to like concession stands.
Okay, well, that's okay then. That's okay. I
Yeah, yeah,
I hate it when the guy's like, okay, and it's like, okay, and then you have to tell the guy how much you're gonna tip him. It just seems
Yeah.
like so cheap. Like, oh, give yourself $1, man. Like, thanks a lot, asshole.
I just always tip 20%. That's just my not to sound like I'm Daddy Warbucks over here, but like if I'm out at like Fenway, I'll always tip 20%.
Did you ever
On
get anything
drinks, I
free
just do
at the
like
park,
$1 a
Jordan?
drink.
Did you ever get like a free hot dog? Ever?
I did once when I was 6 years old.
Okay.
I got one because I called over a vendor and I was 6. I didn't have money.
Did you say hot dog boy? I need a hot dog. Did you go there? Did you go that way?
No, I think I yelled yo.
Okay.
I think that was my response. 6-year-old me yelling yo in my wheelchair.
I went to the extra inning game where Brock Holt hit the walk-off. It was a 1-inning game. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, against the Royals.
The hot dogs were only $1.
Oh,
yeah, pretty cool.
Try doing the 9, 9, and 9, but instead of 9 innings, it's 9 minutes. So you have to
basically, yeah, that's what happened.
So you have to hammer 9 beers and 9 hot dogs in 9 minutes.
And a lobster poutine.
And a lobster poutine.
And not shit your pants.
Congratulations on spending $1,000 on a 1-inning game.
Now drive back to Amherst.
Well, for me in 2019, I would have been 19, so that would have been very illegal. In addition to that, I would have had to drive back to the Cape.
You wouldn't have made it.
I wouldn't have made it back to my car.
You checked yourself into the hospital.
Why would you go to the Tasty Burger parking lot and making a deposit?
Well, if I could have made it all the way back to the hospital, I could have made it back to my car at that point. My keys would have been looking at me like Ana de Armas at that point. Anyway, game 1, 6:45 first pitch. Again, saying everything again. Buy Jack Lobster poutine tomorrow. Say hi to him. I'm not going to tell you where he's sitting because I don't know. But if I did, I would completely dox the man. Brian Bayo on the mound against Brandon Woodruff. Bayo has a 9.64 ERA. Brandon Woodruff has a 3.60 ERA. Game 2, also 6:45 first pitch. A game that should be very fun if you like pitchers duels, which means the Red Sox will somehow lose 7-1. Actually, no, because I thought this last year when Crochet faced Chase Burns and that game was like 13-6 and both pitchers got shelled. Garrett Crochet is a 3.27 ERA, one really good start, one really bad start against Jacob Mizorowski, who is looking like an early candidate to win NL Cy Young. He's got a 2.45 ERA. Game 3, 1.35 first pitch. That's it. On Wednesday, Sonny Gray on the mound, 4.50 ERA versus Chad Patrick, who gave up Sharon Duran's hardest hit ball last year of 117 miles an hour, but he has a 0.96 ERA because, of course, he does. He is on the Milwaukee Brewers.
Is that official? Because it was undecided this morning. So,
according to MLB Game Day Preview, it is Chad Patrick. So I'm basing it off of that. If it is not Chad Patrick, sorry for lying on the internet.
I'm going to throw ESPN under the bus again because just like last year, their pitching matchups are just not. Whoever's working, the interns from Fairfield or whoever's there that are working at ESPN right now, they're not doing it.
ESPN lies. We've been new since Deflategate. ESPN lies.
That's right.
Allegedly, because I am a person looking for work at the moment, so I cannot. Well, not looking for work in general, like I'm unemployed. Looking for journalism opportunities. Anyway.
Okay.
Brian, how are the Red Sox doing this series?
Well, I thought it was undecided, so I thought they could win 2 or 3. But now that I know there's a pitcher for the other game, I'm kind of like, all right. But then so I'll go 2 or 3. I got some optimism. I want to feel good about myself. I want them to do something. I don't like this one. I don't like losing. This sucks.
I'm with you there. Does Caleb Durbin have which do we think Caleb Durbin's gonna have a revenge series? Do we get maybe his first Red Sox home run this week?
He'll get at least a hit.
Yeah, who's gonna have a better revenge series, David Hamilton or Caleb Durbin? I'm actually very excited about that.
Hamilton's stealing minimum 4 bases in these 3 games.
I think he's going to go full Hamilton. I think he's going to show the power. You know, every once in a while, Hamilton had these bombs. You're like, wow, don't do that again.
It's weird because like
striking out.
Yeah. Weird also too because a home run is better than a single, even with a couple steals after. But I'd much rather watch David Hamilton run than jog around the bases. You know. But Jack, how are the Red Sox doing this series?
All right, I'm gonna reverse engineer this series. I'm gonna go backwards. So Wednesday day game. I'm pretty sure I said I don't fear Chad Patrick this time last year when we played Milwaukee, and then Chad Patrick shoved against us, and I felt really dumb. That being said, I'm going to run it back. I still don't fear Chad Patrick. I don't think he's that good.
Connor Wong goes 4 for 4. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's also a guy who generally doesn't throw a lot of innings, even though he starts. So you're going to be getting into their bullpen, which is obviously still really good. They just have demons pitching for Milwaukee all the time. But I like Sonny Gray in a day game at home, rubber in what might be a rubber match situation. So I'm going to say they win the Wednesday game. Then we're going to go to Tuesday. It's a Crochet day. Miz is really good, but I'm not picking against Garrett Crochet once all year. Didn't last year, not going to this year, barring some weird thing happening. That being said, I like in my heart, I want to pick a sweep, especially because I'm going to the Monday game. But Woodruff is elite if he's pitching, and Bayo's coming off a tough one, even though Bayo, sometimes he has these rebound games, and it's a night game. But I don't feel confident enough with the way they're hitting to predict a sweep. So I'm going to say they win 2 of 3, but I have to witness a loss, and that is my penance. And David Hamilton will have a monster series.
I'll be so upset if David Hamilton goes nuts this series. But I don't know. Maybe I should just go pessimistic fully to really give the Red Sox a shot at winning the series. They're 1-3 when I go to games this year, by the way, so I might have to take a break. But I'm going to be an asshole here, and I'm going to pick the Red Sox to get swept. I'm gonna do what Carabas did last year, and I'm gonna start betting on them to get swept. They are not scoring runs. The Brewers are a devil magic organization. You get Woodruff and Mizorowski. Like if Miz was pitching against Bayo tomorrow, I'd feel way better about this series because I'm like, okay, I could chalk that one up as the free loss. But you get Miz, who is maybe not of Crochet's caliber just based off pedigree, but from a talent standpoint, not that far away. Not that far away. And the way the Red Sox are hitting, I just don't trust them, again, as far as I could throw them. And then Chad Patrick, 0.96 ERA. His FIP is like 4.9, which means he is 100% going to finish with a sub-2 ERA this year with a FIP over 5 because, again, he's on the Milwaukee Brewers. I do think Caleb Durbin gets more hits than the Red Sox get wins, but I think Caleb Durbin's going to go 1 for 12. So, but it will be his first Red Sox home run, making a call. He is going to homer.
Awesome.
It'd be pretty funny if it was Mizorowski, but he gave up a home run to Chase Mydroth. So I think maybe that might just be a funny bit where he just gets absolutely torched by dudes who can't hit.
Nick York is licking his chops at when he gets to play Miz.
Yeah, these guys that can't hit home runs are just demolishing Jacob Mizorowski. So that's my prediction. They get swept, but Caleb Durbin, congratulations on homering off Jacob Mizorowski. And then I get to hear about how he's going to hit 20 and I'm going to have to eat a shoe. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. We've already been on this for over 2 hours. Any final thoughts? All right. Perfect. Shout out again. If you're not following us on Twitter or Instagram, we are at The Pesky Report. A lot of content over on Instagram, specifically a lot of new graphics. Nate, I don't want to butcher his last name, Wallenhop, as I think how you pronounce it. I'm just going to assume I meant to ask him how to say his name or ask him to spell it out phonetically for me.
Conigliaro.
Yeah, Conigliaro. Nate Conigliaro. He's an honorary
from now on
member of that family.
That's what we'll call him.
But him and Jason, you guys know Jason from he hosts with us sometimes. Did the fantasy draft or the expansion draft with Derek in the off season. Those guys are absolutely killing it over on Instagram at The Pesky Report. That's also how you can find us on Twitter. If you do not follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, feel free to do so. Leave us a review, 5 stars. You could also tell us we suck. I would be very sad if you did, but I don't know. We can't get better if we don't know that we're not doing good enough, Let us know. Right. Feel free. I give you guys permission to tell me I'm terrible. I did see somebody comment on the YouTube last or on the weekday show that they loved Isaiah and Matt's takes, and I'm like, that's a really passive aggressive way of calling me stupid, and I respect it. I respect it. I really do. I really enjoyed that. It was
The
good
Jordan
enough.
guy though. Ugh.
That Jordan guy. I heard he's bald. How old is he? Like he's calling out Caleb Durbin for being 5'6". This guy's 25 and bald. Dick. Like, hey, whatever. Can't win them all.
Nope.
But yeah. Give us a follow, give us a review, give us a subscribe to us on YouTube as well. But anyway, again, this is episode 555 of the Pesky Report presented by Beyond the Monster. For Brian and Jack, I'm Jordan. Till next time, peace out and go Sox.
Like, this is called the Pesky Report. Like,